Calvin? Oh. Well, a tremendous Tuesday afternoon. Welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. As always, the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province of Alberta. PlayAlberta.ca, where it is Tuesday, and you know what that means? Ooh, $50 million up for grabs in Lotto Max. So get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. We got lots to discuss today. The Edmonton Oilers taking on Utah. Oilers got a little help last night as the Los Angeles Kings losing in Minnesota. Kings remain 1 point back of the Oilers. Now they only have one game in hand. By the end of the month, Edmonton, Vegas, and LA will all be even in games played. They all have 9 games to play in the month of April. So we'll sort it out. I don't think there's going to be any real clarification in the race in the Pacific Division. The victory for the Wild last night just puts them one step closer, pretty much locking themselves in to that first wild card spot, which means the winner of the Pacific Division is going to be taking on the Minnesota Wild in the first round. So you look at it from an Edmonton perspective, you can play Vegas, you can play LA, or you're going to play the Wild. Those are the options. Is there one that you find most intriguing? Most intriguing would be Vegas. The matchup you'd probably want would be Minnesota for me. Now, I know Edmonton has a lot of success against the Kings. From my perspective, being there, done that, I'd want to see something different, but I could see why a lot of Oilers fans would say, no, I know I can beat the Kings, so let's face the Kings. So we shall see. The Jets, by the way, are in town on Thursday. Should be a good game there. Tonight, of course, the one storyline to be watching for, Leon Draisaitl and the chase for 50 goals. He can become only the 15th player in NHL history with 4 50-goal seasons. He'll become only the 10th player in NHL history with 4 50-goal and 50 assists in the same season. 4 times. Only 10 guys have ever done it. It is extremely hard to do, and that's what makes Draisaitl such a unique player. He is the best player in the NHL when you want to do a combination of passer. David doesn't have it. Pasternak doesn't have it. McKinnon doesn't have it. Matthews doesn't have it. They don't have it. So that's what puts Draisaitl in a very unique spot for me as a player. Also on the show today, Cole Bagley will join us. So we'll break down this Utah team. We had Dylan Gunther on yesterday, and Utah comes in. This will not be an easy game tonight for the Oilers because Utah, they're in a battle. The Canucks, the Blues each have 73 points. The Flames, who got waxed last night in Toronto, they have the hardest schedule. They got 71 games remaining, so it's a real tight race. So Utah, they're 6-2-2 in their last 10. They're feeling it. So look for Vejmelka to get the start in goal tonight. Calvin Pickard is going to get the start for the Oilers, which means I'm guessing then Skinner will play Thursday and Saturday. Most likely then they have some days off, and they'll play back-to-back next Wednesday, Thursday. Then they wrap up the month with a home game against the Calgary Flames. Then they're off for their final road trip of the season. I think it's a 4-gamer out west. Also today, we'll talk Dave McCarthy from SiriusXM will be by. We'll hear from Struddy, Spec, DVD. Also, Ken Reed will be by. You're hearing the rumblings more and more about Toronto is planning $550 to $600 million contract offer to Vladdy Guerrero. Could Guerrero really turn that down? I guess it's possible, but there's not a lot of teams in the MLB that would offer that type of moolah. So we'll see if it actually comes to fruition or not. We will hear from Chris Knobloch, amongst others, from the Oilers locker room today. The Oilers did make a move. Derek Ryan as being recalled. Now the Oilers are they've got some LTI space, so Derek Ryan comes up. It doesn't impact anything from a cap perspective. It gives him I guess another center option. I think more than anything else, allows him. He comes up. He's going to get to see his family. It's probably a big reason for this. I'm not sure he's going to play a ton of games down the stretch, to be honest. Trent Frederick, do not expect him to play this week, but maybe next Wednesday. I would say that's the best case scenario, a return for Trent Frederick to see when he would get in the lineup for the Edmonton Oilers. But do not expect him this week. Matthias Ekholm, as I said last week, he'll be in the lineup. He is playing tonight. He'll start with Bouchard. You got Wallman and Nurse. Kulak will play with Emberson. Up front, Zach Hyman is back in after missing a game. And he'll slide in on the top line on the right side with McDavid and Jeff Skinner. Draisaitl, Brown, Perry, Nugent Hopkins, Podkolzin, and Arvidsson. Adam Henrique will center Janmark and Kasperi Kapanen. Also today, and I like to a big shout out to a lot of you who have donated over the year. We raised money for this for the entire year, and today was day one of 5 fitting days for Gregor's grads, and got to meet a lot of the high school boys. I can tell you, I always like to surprise the kids when they show up. They think they're getting a suit rental, but it's not. It's theirs to keep. They get tailored and they get pretty fired up, and met a lot of great guys. I will say today, this was the first time ever that we fitted a grad by the name of Chancellor. Sick name. Cons, what's your name? Chancellor. Like, I don't know. It's just kind of regal. I quite liked it. Anyway, Chancellor this guy's a savant, man. He knew like so many sports statistics. It was unbelievable. He's just rattling them off. I was just like, oh my God, this guy you got to bone up on it. So big shout out to Chancellor. Listens to the station. He's a huge fan. He also wanted me to say hi to Bob. So Stoff, Chancellor's a big fan of your show as well. So he was him and, lots of kids to meet from different schools today. And so a big thanks to the people who helped make it possible. We got lots of you. I know yesterday we had Matthew bought the tickets to the Order game tonight, in exchange to sponsor Gregor's grad. And I can tell you it's hard to really put into words just the difference it makes. And, I did have a few of the boys came up and, their parents have taught them very well. Like they expressed gratitude and we're very thankful and just talked about, how awesome it was. A lot of them, they were never going to go to graduation because they just, they didn't have a suit and they didn't feel comfortable. That's why we do it. And so to everybody who helps out in the year, whether it's, like Matthew making a one-time donation to the companies, like a big shout out to Jared at Go Auto and Turan at GS Construction and Jason and Paul at Collin Steel and Jay and Mike at Oilers Nation. They do a lot of big fundraisers for us and make some significant donations to make it all work. So very thankful. I've always said this every year. The most rewarding thing you can do in your life, I find, is when you can help others. And when you get to see these kids, because you remember how it was. And we get a lot of you listeners who text in the show all the time that they didn't go to their grad because they didn't have a suit or they didn't feel comfortable. And so that's why, you know what? A lot of the guys over the years have just sent me random emails saying, hey, man, I want to support a grad because I didn't get to go to my grad and now I'm in a good position. And so I wouldn't want someone to go through that. So it's real powerful stuff. So thanks to everyone who donates. It's a great day. It's a lot of fun. And Papa John's, thank you very much. Gives me a cool factor because there's always pizza for the kids and there's no better, I don't care what age you are, just pizza seems to just, make it a much easier transition into the social aspect when you get to, hey guys, here's some free pizza. So away you go. Remember being 17, you could eat anything, Cons. Crush, like those guys would eat 5 pieces of pizza and walk out the door and they wouldn't even notice it. So, yeah. So it's a good thing to have. So thanks everyone who helps out. And, we have a few extra kids this year. And so we'll do a little bit more fundraising. Maybe probably do it tomorrow for the Jets game if you want to go as well. So we'll be doing that. So a lot of fun. Some other notes. I do want to, we have a lot of people who listen to the show and who listen quite regularly. So I got a note today that one of our listeners, big 3-0 birthday today. So shout out to A-Cash. Happy birthday. You clearly have outkicked your coverage. I'll say that with your significant other. What I did know about A-Cash, he doesn't cry very often, except when the Oilers lost in the Cup Finals, 06 and 04. Probably not the first guy out there. He also, this is I didn't know, Con. Some of our listeners have a very eclectic interests. He really likes watching YouTube home decor videos. Really? Hey, Cash, you telling me that you're a big home decor video guy? Huh. Lindsay tells me that he offers to watch them with her rather than golf. It's kind of surprising choice, I would say. He also, like many of you, had his NHL career cut short due to a tragic shoulder injury at the age of 16 when he was in tier 6. Otherwise, he might have made it. So, and good luck, Cash, for your 30th. I hope you get a new pair of glasses after you threw the last pair when the Oilers lost. So, happy 30th from everyone at Sports 1440 and your lovely wife, who I think, if I'm not mistaken, just took you on your birthday trip to see your favorite team on the road in New York City, Cons. But that's when you know your man, if that's what his birthday present is, you surprise him with a trip to New York to see the Oilers and the Rangers. So he saw a victory. He was in New York. He was in MSG for that game. So kudos. Happy 30th. Hey, Cash, thanks for listening to the show. We appreciate it.
Setting the bar high. Hey, Cash, happy birthday. Going to do something to maybe at least equal what your wife did for you for her birthday. I don't know what that means. Some sort of vacation or something, but
he's probably just going to get he's probably going to get a shout out from one of his favorite home decor YouTubers. Clearly, it's his thing now.
I wonder, how much how much is their home influence?
How much is he learning from this? That's what I want to know. Right? Is he now does he go around the house and is he decorating his own house? That's what I'd like to know. Very curious about this.
Honey, a cabinet would look really good.
Like home decor. Whew, it's a tough Saturday morning. Oh. It sounds like Will Ferrell in Old School, right?
Real nice morning.
Not sure we're going to have enough time. Bed, Bath, and Beyond, baby. So there you go.
Do you get involved in the home decor at the Gregor household?
No. No.
No preference?
You have to know your strengths and your weaknesses. And no. That is, my wife asks, thankfully, so I'll pretend that I'm interested. If she was listening, she wouldn't even be upset by that because she kind of knows it's true. No, I don't. When we built our home, I had input. I wanted there was 3 things I wanted. And then I said, you know what? I'll trust you, do everything else. It's, you know what? She has way more interest in that stuff. Right. So I'm in charge of other things around the home. That's not one of them. But paint colors, honestly, I don't, you can now have there's 50 shades of white. Are we serious now? And you'll put up one, then you'll put up the other one. They look identical. I got a different name. And I'm like, I can't do this. So no, the carpet, I wanted carpet in my bedroom because people put hardwood in there, which is way more expensive, but then they put a throw carpet over top of it because it's too cold. I'm like, well, that just doesn't make any sense to me. So I just wanted carpet in the main bedroom, nowhere else. So I have that. And I wanted a gym and an infrared sauna. That's it. That was the extent of my input. And it worked out really well. They did a great job. That's not true. I wanted grates in the floor in the garage. That was the other thing I wanted. And so that's, and I clean the garage, man. I'll tell you, it's a weird thing. Guys out there, I was never that guy, but now I'm the guy. When I clean the garage floor, whew, dude, there's not many more things. It's bordering on orgasmic. I'm not going to lie. Now I got last year I bought myself a high pressure water for the garage floor, and it is unreal. It's kind of a weird thing. I don't know if you reach a certain age in your life or suddenly those type of things, that's a euphoria at this stage. Mine used to be party, and now it's sweep it, clean that garage floor where it's sparkling in the springtime. Usually I wait till about late April, early May. right? Because by then you know that all the roads are clean, so you don't have to worry about it. And do I get a little anal? Yes. Do I ask sometimes people, hey, my wife, when you come home, don't just drive into the garage. You can sit outside for a few hours and let it all drip off before you drive in. I just think it's totally fair. Don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I've certainly become like the guy. I like to clean driveway now, and I bought a leaf blower to use in the winter to just quickly get that light dusting of snow off before my wife drives on it, things of that nature. So I don't think it's a big deal. You have the grates, utilize them, keep the garage clean. I think it's something everyone does though, right? Like spring, we've got to do that cleaning. No cars in there, do the sweep. Maybe you want to take it a step further. I know my father-in-law, kind of like you, gets like the power washer going, gives it a really nice clean. So yeah, our life's changes different directions. Some people become big fans of YouTube home decor, and some people keep a clean garage, I guess.
Yeah, everybody's got different things, man. So home decor for Akash, and for us men, we like to clean the garage. Everybody's different.
We did totally paint the house in the summer, and I will tell you.
Whoa! You painted it yourself?
No. We hired someone, and he came in with like those little paint books, and it's like so many shades of white, and he's like, "Well, but they look different when compared to this." And I just sat back like
too much, man.
They're all fine.
No, it's too much. I'll say about like painters. There's certain jobs like I had to I helped my mother, and I had to paint like her roof. In the not the roof, the ceiling, excuse me, in 2 of the rooms. I don't think my shoulders have ever been that sore in my life.
Be tough.
Well, you're up like for hours on it. It's just like, oh my God. And I have there's certain jobs you don't have patience for. And I respect the painters. I would always hire someone to paint. I think there's probably 3 jobs that will lead to increased divorce rate. Home renovations together for sure. I think painting I would put in that category. But like home renos, ask any couple out there. If you're not married, you might want to try a home reno because you'll know then if your marriage is destined to last. Because everybody's like, you can be the calmest person. Your wife can be, you get into certain situations and calm goes out the door. Right? Like there's not a lot of rational thinking in that moment. I've seen it. I've never experienced it because I've never done it myself, but I've seen the remnants of those type of situations. Not good. Bathroom renovation might be the worst one. So kudos to those who do it. Hey, Greg's, what about working cattle? Oh, yeah, that's another one. Any farmers out there can attest to it. Like there's certain people that have better animal instincts than others, Cons. Some people are more mechanical. Some people are more just understanding how to herd a cow. I know people think it's that simple. It ain't that easy, right? You have some people that they don't have a clue. They can't anticipate. They don't understand if you go too far ahead of the cow or the horse. Now they cut back and all your work is done and ruined in a short period of time. I'm telling you, it's not for the faint of heart.
Got to know your strengths.
Yeah. Have to.
Got to be aware in that sense. That's why me and my wife will never do home rentals together. We'll pool our money, we'll save up, and we'll hire a professional.
Hey guys, I've been trying to change a pot light for a week. I've got a gaping hole in the roof, new pot light in the dinner table. I refuse to hire anyone, and the pot light is winning for now. From Large Farva. Buddy, I give you credit. Because there is something to be said. Yes, if you can get it done, it is very satisfying. There's no doubt about it. Like, I've done a small, simple things, it's change a fixture here or there. Oh yeah, I can do it. But there are some where it tests your patience and it questions your sanity sometimes. Hey guys, me and my wife bond and become a better team when we do home renos. She's the painter and I do the trim and all the cuts. Clay, we don't need braggers on the show, okay? We don't need a bragger. Look at you guys. You're like the unique couple. It's great for you. But let's be honest here. You're like you're the McDavid then of the NHL. It's possible to be that great, but it's rare. It just is. Hey, Greg's, I'd put in wallpapering against anything. The worst thing ever. One of you tries to wet it. The other one never puts it. Now, people still put up wallpaper? Whoa, Mike. Really? God, I thought that was like a thing of the past. I'm trying to think of any of my buddies' house. Did anybody have wallpaper? Do you have wallpaper in your home?
No. Did growing up, but
yeah,
not anymore.
Like, I remember wallpaper, and you're right. I remember helping my parents do it, or maybe my parent, now that I think about it. It was usually just one of them. Right? Remember, you have to, I don't even know what that kind of, it looked like a big eraser, right? And you'd stip it in. I don't even know what was in the water or whatever. And then you put the wallpaper on, you'd wet it, and it was a whole thing. But most people aren't wallpapering now.
There's one guy you could ask about that, actually.
Who's that?
The birthday boy.
Oh, yeah.
Because we got texts are coming in saying it's back.
Magic Mark. Guys, wallpaper's making a huge comeback in renos. Come on now. This is like the bell bottoms of the home industry, home renovation industry. It's making a comeback. Oof. Well, you know what? Whatever's out eventually comes back in. That's kind of the same. So, Hey, guys, true story. IKEA in Europe have certified counselors in store to deal with couples fighting about picking out furniture. I don't even think that. Like, I don't even need to research that. I would believe that. Oh, God. That is so funny. Hey, Gregor, my, quote, current, unquote, wife and I are renovating the next 2 weeks. Greg, please give us an update in 2 weeks. God, like, I wish we could just get like video. Those are videos that I would watch online of couples renovating their house together, because that would be comedy. Because you'd relate to it. It would be unbelievable. Oh, so funny. We'll come back. We'll talk some hockey. The Oilers taking on Utah. Utah, this team, they look pretty good all of a sudden. We'll talk about it next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Oil Kings hockey takes the ice at Rogers Place for the final regular season game this Sunday.
It's the Team Awards game. See who scores the hardware pregame for Rookie of the Year, Most Improved, MVP, and more.
With all the family fun Sunday face painting, bouncy castles, and Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less.
Plus a postgame team autograph session.
Edmonton Oil Kings, Red Deer Rebels. Team Awards game, 4 p.m. Sunday.
The final home game this season at Rogers Place before playoff action kicks off. Starting at $20 a seat. Save on day of game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
Explore beyond the boundaries of capability and value during Truck Month at GMC. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Pro Graphite. With a TurboMax engine delivering 310 horsepower, GMC Pro safety features including automatic emergency braking, plus a max towing of up to 9,500 pounds. You'll be ready for anything this Truck Month. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Introducing the new McSpicy from McDonald's. It looks like a regular chicken sandwich, but it's actually a spicy chicken sandwich. McSpicy. Consider yourself warned. Limited time only. Participate in McDonald's in Canada.
RV Wars hits the north side March 27th to 30th at the Old Lowe's building. Go RV, Vision RV, and Arcan RV have joined forces for RV Wars. Take advantage of pre-tariff pricing on travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes, and more. The last of the 2024 models are being cleared out. Make no payments for 6 months OAC. Now is the time to buy with special discounted finance rates. Free admission with a donation to the food bank. RV Wars on the north side, 9603 165 Avenue. Visit rvwars.ca.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's AquaCentral reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at hughescarwash.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Watch every Oilers game at OTR with $5.25 Molson Canadian, $5 Pink Whitney shots, and 60-cent wings. Plus, play Oilers Score and Win for your chance to win On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave in 118th.
Jason Gregor Show. Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$2.25. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hope you are having yourselves a lovely Tuesday. What a beautiful day out today. Oh, man, when it starts to warm up here in this part of the world, I love it. All right, the snow's melting, the heat's out. It is fantastic. It's great. Let's go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And you can indulge in the cheesy jalapeno pepper sauce, perfectly pickled jalapeno peppers, and bacon with McDonald's new cheesy jalapeno and bacon quarter pounder, but only for a limited time at McDonald's, as the Utah Hockey Club will be in town tonight. They are in a battle for the final wild card spot, 2 points back of Vancouver and St. Louis, tied with Calgary. They're 6-2-2 in their last 10. Cole Begley joins us, beat reporter for Utah HC. And Cole, it's from this far away, it seems kind of the simple analysis is Utah was trucking along. Now they got healthy and they got all their defensemen back, and now they're a force to be reckoned with. Is that fair?
Yeah. That's incredibly fair. I think that, Bill Armstrong has done a great job in assembling this roster. And now I think we're kind of seeing, his vision for this team, taking the next step in their rebuild. Obviously year 4 of that process, but, it's all kind of starting to come together for the Utah Hockey Club. They've got these incredible young prospects that are, trending towards being stars in the league, and Logan Cooley and Dylan Guenther. As you mentioned, they've gotten healthy with guys on the back end of Sean Dursey, John Marino, who have, significantly elevated this team's play on the blue line. And then they're also getting, key contributions from some of their more veteran players. Their captain, Clayton Keller, who's having a career season. He's now over 50 assists for the first time in his career, and he's on pace to surpass that 90-point benchmark for the first time in his career as well. So, he's stepping up and playing incredible hockey. They're getting elite play from Mikhail Sergachev, who's just been good all season long and continues to be an anchor defensively. And then guys like Oli Mata, Kevin Stenlund, players that they acquired over the last 6 months, 6-7 months, have really proven why Bill Armstrong went out and got them. And at the end of the day, I think it's mostly just adding championship experience, adding guys who understand what it takes to make the playoffs, is really just coming through for the Utah Hockey Club right now.
Like when I look at Utah's roster and I see Keller and Schmaltz and, I like Cooley and Dylan Guenther. The one thing they kind of lack is like a legit number one center. And so in the future, that would be it. Like I know Kerfoot right now and Barrett Hayton are their top 2 centers. I really like Jack McBain as a 3rd-line center, and Stenlund's a great 4th-liner, but that would be down the road. The much big need for them is to get a number one center.
Absolutely. And they're going to have the ability to do some big game hunting this offseason. They have roughly $22 million in cap space to go and find, I think, what could be one of the finishing touches on really creating legitimate, playoff contender in Utah. But what's great for Utah is that, time is arguably their greatest asset. They're so young, they have so much potential, and they've got more prospects in the pipeline. Guys like TJ Ginla, Cole Baudouin, Dmitry Simashev, Daniil Boat. This team is very well prepared for the future. But, to your point, a first-line center would definitely help. And I think as well, potentially a guy that's a little bit more physical. This team is a little bit small up front. And so, some more added physicality would certainly help. And just someone that can round them out a little bit better and add some more experience at the center position up top.
Cole, when Utah is playing their best, and now that they're healthy, what area are they most dangerous in?
I think that's a really good question. They've got a lot of speed. When you think of, Logan Cooley, Clayton Keller, even guys like Michael Carconi, this team definitely is very quickly. But I think, when you break it down a little bit more in terms of their offense, they're a team that really likes to get set up.
Okay.
They're able to attack off the rush. But they have, I think their power play is number 11 in the league right now. And that's what they like to do, is they like to get into the zone. They like to get set up, and they like to break teams down, and set up players for one-timers. That's where Dylan Gunther has excelled this season. Clayton Keller has a handful of one-timers. Mikhail Sergachev has one-timers. Logan Cooley scored a one-timer, in close, against the Vancouver Canucks the other night to win the game. And so, while this team is fast, they're also more, I think they really like to assert themselves in the offensive zone and get set up to break teams down.
And then conversely, what do they struggle against? What does, when an opposing team's doing something, where is the area that they struggle?
I think physicality is definitely a struggle for this team. You look at the last two games, and going into the game with Vancouver. Vancouver had about 650 plus or more hits than the Utah Hockey Club on the year. And that's how Vancouver was really able to take an early lead, was to just kind of, break Utah down by a harsh forecheck, by bullying them a little bit. And the same thing happened with the Kraken in the loss 2 nights before. Utah was just kind of bullied a little bit. They were not able to set up in the zone, which, really interrupted their ability to get their offense going. And so, if I had to point to one thing, it definitely would be, like I said earlier, they're a little bit smaller. They're not a team that's going to beat you up, and they're going to try to beat you with speed. And if you can't, assert your dominance, they're going to set up in the zone and make you pay.
Karel Vejmelka is, back as the starter. He was the starter in the previous organization in Arizona, and he lost it for a bit with Ingram, but he's come back. What change, if anything? Was it just a lack of consistency for him? If you talk to him, what's the difference in his game this year, or is it just getting back to what he was from a few years ago?
Consistency. I think it's consistency and confidence. I've had conversations with Vejmelka multiple times over the last couple of weeks. I've also spoken with head coach Andre Chorny in terms of, hey, what's made the difference for Vejmelka? I mean, if you look at him statistically in terms of save percentage and goals against, he's pretty much hovered around top 10 all season long. And that's ultimately what helped him, gather that new 5-year extension. But when I asked Coach, Torney, I said, what has been the difference? What's helping him? And he said simply consistency. And, he's a guy that has been thriving when the team has had to rely on him so heavily, and he's played so many games in a row. I believe this will be his 10th or 11th straight start tonight. Now that, Connor Ingram has stepped away from the team. And, they had to call up Jackson Stauber from their AHL affiliate in Tucson. But I think it's all to the benefit of Vejmelka. He loves to play. He thrives on consistently playing. It helps boost his confidence. And, we've kind of seen that come to fruition as this has been the best year of hockey he's ever had between the pipes in the NHL.
Cole Bagley joins us discussing the Utah Hockey Club. Of course, they're in town tonight to take on the Edmonton Oilers. You look at it, you mentioned Sergachev from a matchup perspective. When you look at their coaching, does he search ever for matchups, or does he kind of just go with the flow? What's his approach to matchups?
Yeah, I certainly think, I think every coach kind of goes with the flow a little bit, but, the last time these two teams met, there was a little bit more coordinated attacks in terms of matchups, and I think that arguably has to do with defending against the top line. Right? I mean, with so much firepower up there for Edmonton, you can't really just go with the flow. And so last game we saw a lot of Utah's third line, which is their strongest, their most physical, their most assertive line for the Utah Hockey Club right now. That line consists of Lawson Krause, Josh Stone, and Jack McBain, who are all 6'2" plus on their skates. And so I think that's where you're going to see a little bit more matchup driven hockey, is just trying to slow down Edmonton's top line with a more physical approach.
Their top line, but then there's that guy Leon Draisaitl, who's technically on their second line, but has been the Oilers' best player this season. So if Sergachev and Marino are out there, is it Dursey and Mata? Or is it going to be like, does Ian Cole, because of his weight, does he get a little bit more time? What do you think the matchup's going to be defensively against Draisaitl?
Yeah, that's going to be one that I would assume that we'd see more of a response between the top two lines with Sergachev and John Marino, and then Dursey and Mata on the second. And as we talked about before, that's what's really helped the Utah Hockey Club, just experience a surge over the last 10 to 15 games. Is now they've got depth defensively. They've got legitimate top 2 to 4 defensemen, whereas they were having to call up some of their young prospects and rely on guys that that they were pulling off waivers. And so I would expect one of those two top lines to definitely be sharing some time between defending against the top and second line for Edmonton. But we'll see. This is a different roster than the last time that these two teams met. And so that might be more of one where they try to feel it out.
Looking at this playoff push for Utah, it's obviously first year in, their owner hasn't spared any expenses. There's excitement in Utah. How important, does getting in really matter that much? Or is this deemed a successful year one for Utah and the fact that they are a legit playoff contender here down the stretch, whether they get in or not?
I think whether they get in or not, it's a success. This team did not set expectations from the beginning of the year that they were going to, make the playoffs. It was very much an in-between type thing, doing exactly what they're doing. The potential was there, but they weren't exactly sure how that was going to be executed. So I think, like I said, if they make the playoffs, fantastic. If not, it's not a big deal, because as I mentioned earlier, time is the greatest asset for the Utah Hockey Club. They have so much potential, and there's a lot more room for growth. But if they are able to make it, which I believe that the organization is certainly pushing for at this point, every time I talk to a player or a coach, the theme is, the playoffs have started now for us. Every game is a game 7 like situation. It's do or die, and it really is. With how tight the race is amongst the 4 teams pushing, points are fragile and precious. And so overall, I think the season is a success. They've demonstrated growth. There's been obvious, positive outcomes and results from bringing in guys like Sergachev and Cole and Stenlund. And the list goes on. But they certainly have their eyes set on making the playoffs. This is an organization that hasn't done so for a long time, and the players are ready to make that move, and they're certainly wanting it to be now.
Well, Cole, it's going to be a fascinating stretch run, and we'll see Utah in person tonight for the first time in Edmonton. So look forward to it. Thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
That's Cole Begley, a beat reporter from KSL Sports, talking a little Utah HC. We'll hear from Chris Knobloch, a few other members of the Oilers as they get set. Now 5 of the next 6 to end this month on home ice for the Oilers. They're home tonight, Thursday, Saturday. Then they got 3 days off. Then they're home Wednesday. Next Thursday, they fly to Seattle for 1 game, and then they're back home to finish the month against the Calgary Flames. So opportunity here for the Oilers. Can they gain some ground? That'll obviously be their goal. You kind of want to keep LA in the rearview mirror, but at the same time, try to make up some ground. And tonight, both LA and Vegas are idle. So the Oilers can win, jump 3 ahead of LA, and pull within 2 of the Vegas Golden Knights, who neither one of those teams play again until Thursday, when, of course, the Oilers also back in action. So the Kings are in Chicago on Thursday. Meanwhile, the Bruins will be in Vegas on Thursday. We'll return with the Oil Report on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Play Alberta has hundreds of casino games right at your fingertip. Join thousands discovering why Fortune Coin is one of Alberta's most popular games. Fill your reels with golden coins, multiply your prizes up to 6 times, and turn good spins into legendary ones. Land the fortune coin symbol to win cash. Trigger the jackpot, launch the free spins bonus, and watch as the dragon takes over your screen. New players get 100 free spins only on playalberta.ca. Claim your offer today.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
This is going to make you hungry. Booster Juice just dropped new guacamole and black bean grilled fresh options.
What the what?
Yeah, a guacamole black bean wrap, guacamole chicken panini, and an egg and chipotle black bean wrap.
What a trio! Holy guacamole!
Bye-bye, boring as bread sandwiches.
Guac, yeah! New flavors, new cravings.
Avocado up to wraps and paninis from Booster Juice. Canadian-born blending since 1999. Download the Booster Rewards app and order one today.
Dang. Last season, you bought new clubs to fix your game. You spent the entire season trying to learn how to hit with your magic clubs. And guess what? Dang. They didn't help your game. Now you're convinced it's your swing, but it really is your clubs. Even though you were told the ones you bought were the best ever made, if they were, you would have gotten better. Every day at Fitted Golf, we continue to prove the right clubs make all the difference in the world. From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference. Yes, fittedgolf.ca.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
The Alzheimer's Face-Off presented by Christensen Communities Limited hits the ice April 25th to 27th. Don't miss the Champions Luncheon on Friday, April 25th at the Edmonton Convention Center. Tables are on sale now. This year's event is hosted by accomplished sports journalist and author Scott Morrison and features the legendary locker room tales of Mike Keenan. Iron Mike grew from a highly respected NHL player to one of the most passionate coaches in hockey history. For more information or to purchase your Champions Luncheon table, visit alzheimersfaceoff.ca.
Kids get in free all season long. Can you believe it? Looking for an enjoyable and affordable family night out? The Spruce Grove Saints are excited to introduce their Kids Get In Free program. All kids 12 and under receive free admission for every Saints home game this season. Bring the entire family for action-packed junior hockey at a fraction of the cost. For more information, check out sgsaints.ca.
Volvo Cars Edmonton invites you to their biggest sale of the year. The March showroom event is on now. Lease or finance a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from 1.99% and save $3,500. Lease a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save $5,500. Lease or finance a 2024 XC40 plug-in hybrid from 0.49% and save $2,500. Don't miss the March showroom event at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Can Torque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantorque.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Well, a little Linda Lou. Don't hear that reference very often. Welcome back. Game Day, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. The Gregor Show is always presented by playalberta.ca. Remember, $50 million up tonight at Lotto Max. Get your tickets. Playalberta.ca. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Text us in our email inbox. You know what? We had a lot of other... Hey, Gregor, another thing you want to put on the list of challenging couples, parking the The trailer. Oh my goodness. To the left. To the left. No, the right. Oh God. Those ones, if you have some people like, you got the fifth wheel and some people are just better drivers at it than others. Oh, it's pure comedy, man. Have you ever sat back ons, maybe you go meet your friends and one of them's trying to park the trailer?
I mean, I lived it for the first, 10 years of my life. My parents would have to do that.
Oh, God. How was that?
Well, pull-through spots were very popular, I would say.
Yeah.
They were actually pretty smooth at it.
Okay.
I don't want to say they're that couple that does home renovations together, but they got through it. I would notice a trend of my dad pouring a pretty stiff rum and Coke afterwards. The road trip, obviously factoring into that as well. But
classic.
Yeah, they did okay with that one.
Oh, even what about the boat at the boat launch? Oh, yeah. It's another classic. Oh man, like so funny. Because there are just certain things where you could be the most patient person and all of a sudden you're done. Like it's just the switch flips and tirade happens. Man, it is comical. Comical. Well, it's never comical for those involved in it, but for everybody else, it's pretty funny. Let's get to the oil report brought to you by Volvo Cars. Edmonton comes celebrate the March showroom event, the biggest sale of the year. XC90s, XC60s, XC40, everything. Get the V Series. Oof, unbelievable cars. Better sales right now at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. The Oilers, hey, they finished the road trip solid. 2 consecutive games. Didn't allow more than a goal. Goaltending was good. Defensive play was good. What does the coach feel is repeatable from those games carrying over to tonight?
I think any successful team it needs to defend really well. And you look at after the break and you look at our chances that we're giving up, especially 5-on-5, and we're looking at probably between 15, 20 a game. And our goal is somewhere about 10 to 12. And I think every game the last 4, we have been at that mark. And so everything I think needs to start with our defensive play, and whether that's our line rush against, our reloads from our forwards, our gaps from our D, our defensive zone coverage, whatever it is, that we're playing well in that area. And then after that, everything else will transpire and build off that. And right now we'd like some secondary scoring, build off that a little bit. But I think first and foremost, it's how well we defend. Everything else will work out itself out.
Well, it is amazing if you limit a lot of quality chances, suddenly your goals against go down. It's almost like we talked about that, Cons, for a while here on the show. Jeff Skinner is going to get another look with Connor McDavid. What has the coach seen from 53 lately?
Well, last game, I'll just rewind back to the Rangers game, the first period especially. Had a couple scoring chances, drew 2 power plays. I think he's been unfortunate with his goal scoring this year. He's at a lower rate than he usually is. But, he's a player that, when we talk about secondary scoring and guys who can put puck in the net, he is a guy that we expect can do that. And given the right opportunities. Tonight's a great opportunity for him, playing with Hyman and McDavid, obviously. But we don't want him to get away with the way he's been playing. He's been tenacious. He's been getting into the opposition's getting in low where he's winning those battles for pucks. So keeping pucks alive, that's an important thing. So, yeah, he's been doing a lot of good things.
Also, Matthias Ekholm will be in the lineup, and they're going to have Ekholm. And is this the first game Ekholm and Wallman have played together? I think so. Right? Ekholm wasn't on the road trip, and he didn't play in that game against Dallas. So I'm pretty sure, yeah, this will be the first game together. So the defense pairings now, you got Ekholm back, you got Wallman. How much experimenting are we going to see? What's his plan?
Yeah, tonight there'll be, I assume there'll be a lot of fluctuation with the D pairs. Eki hasn't played for a while. We've got 3 games in the next 5 days. So his workload, I assume, will not be what it typically is. Playing a, typical 22 to 25 minutes a night, doing that 3 of the next 5 nights after he's had almost 2 weeks off. Probably not the best recipe for him. But again, we have to decide how the games go, and what's tonight, next game, whatever it is. I'm not saying that he won't hit those milestones or those benchmarks, but over a long course of time, we have to be careful of that because we do not want him to go back on the injured reserve. So I think there'll be a lot of mix and matching on who's playing where, and especially now with the abundance of left-handed defensemen.
Well, yeah, they'll have 5 of them in the lineup. 4 of them in the lineup tonight. And Wallman and Kulak are the 2 main guys who play the right side. So it'll be interesting. And why not? I believe that we're probably going to see kind of more of a 5-man D rotation with the top 5 guys with the most minutes. Emberson kind of comes in as your penalty killer and your number 6 guy at 5-on-5. And why not? Makes sense to me. I don't see a negative in it. I could see a positive. If Ekholm's playing a minute or 2 less because of Wallman, I actually think that's better for the team. I think Ekholm's going to be fresher. Wallman's mobile. I like it. Derek Ryan was recalled today. Do you see a chance he gets in the line of how many games is he going to play ultimately down the stretch?
Absolutely. Derek Ryan's back with our team, and very good likelihood that he'll be playing games at some point, whether it's injuries or filling in for a role. He does a lot of things. One thing of being a veteran that he is, smart hockey player, doesn't make very many mistakes, which is important. Now, maybe there's other guys that maybe provide a little more speed, physicality, maybe some more offense, but all-around game, Derek Ryan's as good as anybody in that situation. Another thing that he does a lot for our team, if he does play, is face-offs on the right-hand side. Probably on the right-hand side, he might be the NHL leader on face-offs. I believe he's about 60% on the year. And, that's an important factor, especially when the game's late, key face-offs. He brings a lot of tangibles to our team, like a lot of our forwards do. But I guess we have to decide on what's best for our team, our full group.
Yeah, it will be fascinating kind of where he sees it. Now that leads into the next question. Trent Frederick, when he returns, does Knobloch plan on using him as a center or a winger?
Yeah, I just had the conversation with Trent about his career in the NHL and where he's played most of his time. He's primarily been a right winger. Key times, he's played a lot of center, especially in the playoffs. This year, he spent most of his time on left wing. So, I think with the acquisition of him at the time, we wanted flexibility. And same with Wallman. We wanted a defenseman that could play left wing or left side defense and right side. Jake can do that. Same with Trent. We want a guy that can play different situations, whether he's playing top 6 on one of the wings, or maybe he's our 3rd line center. We've got some time to decide on that. A lot can happen with, we're not happy with our lineup. Somebody's disappointing. Somebody's playing really well, whatever it is. But I think he could play any of those 3 positions.
Interesting that he played right wing early, but he's a left shot. So he can play all positions. And you might see him in all. I think the Oilers, if I look at where they need him the most, they need a winger on the left side who can score. Right now, hey, maybe Jeff Skinner all of a sudden starts scoring again. It's possible. But Nugent Hopkins has never been a huge scorer 5-on-5 if he's playing the wing. Janmark, no. Right? Podkolzin's not a scorer. So I think they could use him there. Now, if Kane comes back in the playoffs, he's obviously a left winger. So that might impact it. And then maybe you see Frederick over on the right. But you got Hyman, you got Arvidsson, you got Brown. Those are probably 3 guys that are going to play most of the time, I would think. Brown's not a lock, but I think pretty good chance. So Corey Perry also over there. So I think that probably a left side makes more sense to me than a right side. We'll kind of go from there. And lastly, Knobloch just talked about, McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, Henrique, running those 4 at center. Is it realistic long-term, or is it better with 3 of them?
Yeah, we'll see. Obviously center position is really important. You want your best players playing in the middle of the ice. One thing is when you have your best players all down the middle, the there's not enough ice time for all four of them. McDavid, Draisaitl are going to play at least 20 minutes. Your third line, fourth line center, and it's just not. It's not the same as other teams where they roll their four lines. You want to get McDavid and Draisaitl on the ice more, so when they do, and then your other centermen don't see the ice as much. So there's pros and cons of having those four down the middle. I think it's great for centermen, but just logistics of running the bench makes it a little more difficult.
So there you go. That's head coach Chris Knobloch, the O Report, brought to you by Volvo Cars, Edmonton.com. Lots of more text. Hey, boys, mounted cameras on the back of trucks and fifth wheels have saved my marriage. For some reason, my wife can't understand. If she can't see the side view mirror, I can't see her. Well, it's very simplistic, but it's true, man. Oh, like people be in the stand in the back and they're like, to the left. You're like, they're like, I can't see you. Oh, God, that's funny. Oh, it's funny because it's true, man. Oh, God. There's, I'm telling you, man, the trailer backup stories. Those are class. Hey, Greg, do you consider Frederick a scorer? At 5-on-5, yes. Trent Frederick had as many 5-on-5 goals as Leon Draisaitl did last season. Trent Frederick was top 73 in points and goals 5-on-5 amongst NHL forwards last year. I think now, is he an elite scorer? No. But that's what a 5-on-5 scorer is. I think people sometimes have unrealistic expectations of what a top 6 producer looks like when it comes to a goal scorer. Trent Frederick had 15 goals 5-on-5 last year. As I mentioned, puts him in a tie with Draisaitl for 73rd in 5-on-5 goals. He was second on the Bruins in 5-on-5 goals, 5-on-5 points. He's a top 6 forward. Okay. Now, he's not a big time point producer because he doesn't play in the power play. And that's the difference between being a 40 to 43 point guy to a 60 point guy, because you're getting 17 to 20 points on the power play. That's just the reality. Of course, there's like not every first round draft pick is the same, and not all top 6 guys. Like McDavid's a top 6 forward. Well, let's be honest, he's a top line forward, right? Draisaitl. But those guys are different. Like they're elite scorers. Elite. I honestly, Oilers fans, like it doesn't matter when, because people are like, Gregor, the trade's terrible. He's not playing. Why? They knew he was injured when they acquired him. They didn't acquire Trent Frederick to ensure that he could play from March 8th to March 25th. Would it be nice? Sure. But they want Trent Frederick to get back being healthy and then be ready because they feel he can be a difference maker in the playoffs. And the other thing about the Trent Frederick trade for me is, and I said it the day he was acquired, what he does this year is, okay, it's important, but it's, do they re-sign him? Then it's a no-brainer, 100% massive win of a trade. And that's what they need to do, because the Oilers don't have a lot of what Trent Frederick offers. There's not a lot of guys around the league who offer it. And that's why he'll probably get maybe a little bit more in salary than just what his point totals say, because of the other things that he brings. You can have, if you have 6 guys in the league who score 18 goals and have 40 points, okay, but how many of those guys are physical? How many of those guys fight? How many of those guys are good defensively? How many of those guys can play multiple positions? How many of them can penalty kill? Right? So those are the other intangibles you have to look at and, have some value because of it. You just will. So, and the Oilers, anybody who watches them knows, they lack a little tenacity, to put it lightly. I think it's obvious that's what they could benefit from. 3 o'clock. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. We'll take a quick break. We'll return. We got lots more on the Oilers. Oh, some of what is an automatic relationship stressor? We've talked about home renovations. There's a lot of stress in your relationship, except for a few people. You think it's great. Good for you. But for the majority, it can be a stressful time. The backing in the trailer, boat launch, wallpaper, which I'm not even sure that's a thing anymore, but painting definitely got a lot of votes. Herding cattle, for anybody who's in farm life, I think you can relate to that one. It's different, man. It's until you've done it, it's hard to explain. And so somebody out there, you're in a new relationship, everything is all butterflies and giddiness right now. That's great. Now, if you want to test your relationship, another one is, hey, Gregor, what about travel? Oh, yeah. Travel's a good. I think most couples should probably go on one trip for a week before you ever get married. Just to test, because everybody has some quirks, right? Are they an overpacker? Right? Do they need to be at the airport way earlier than normal? How are they on the, like, there's a lot of things to learn about the traveler. Lots of things. I think that's a good one. Feel free to send any other ones. 833-401-1440. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. They are hiring, looking for HVAC installers and plumbers. Very competitive wages, RRSP matching, tuition reimbursement, and even a hiring bonus for the right candidates. Apply today at legacyheating.ca.
The Sports 1440 update.
It is game day. The Oilers hosting the Utah Hockey Club down at Rogers Place. Puck drop on this one just after 7 o'clock. Our pregame coverage with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson gets going at 6 right here on Sports 1440. Elsewhere on the NHL, you got the Sens and Canadians, Rangers hosting the Flames, Islanders in Pittsburgh, Caps take on the Red Wings, Blues and Preds, Stars, Ducks, Kraken in Chicago, and the Canucks hosting the Winnipeg Jets. In the association, just 4 games on the schedule. The Warriors will host Giannis and the Bucks at 8. At 8:30, the Cavs take on the Clippers. You've also got Celtics and Nets, plus the Hawks in Charlotte to take on the Hornets. PWHL action. Montreal's in Boston. That gets going at 5. In the WHL, you've got the Raiders hosting the Warriors, the Pats up against the Broncos, and Victoria in Kamloops. And from the NFL, Philadelphia Eagles defensive end Brandon Grabb announced his retirement from the NFL after 15 seasons. He was a former first-round pick back in 2010 and spent his entire career in Philadelphia, winning 2 Super Bowls. And the New England Patriots agreeing to a 2-year contract with free agent center Garrett Bradbury. He was released by the Vikings on Monday. The Patriots quickly announcing the deal, $12 million, including $3.8 million guaranteed. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit FountainTire.com today.
With the lead up to the playoffs underway, players are definitely stepping up their game.
And the fans are doing the same. Simple snacks like chips and dip may work at the front half of the season, but now more and more fans are rocking the Wilhauk beef jerky for game time get-togethers.
Just make sure you bring enough for everyone if you want to be invited back for the playoffs.
Make your next hockey game day a Will Hockey game day with Wilhauk beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't win games with salad.
If you or someone you care for are injured in a motor vehicle accident, please listen up. I'm Grant Fedoruk from Leading Edge Physiotherapy, and let me proudly say that we won't be the place your insurer tells you to go. We won't be the place because we don't sign agreements with the insurance company. We don't work for them, we work for you. We do want to be the place that your friends, family, and other medically trained professionals send you. So if your insurance company says that you have to see their therapist, you should know that's not true. You have the right to choose where you go, and we hope you choose us. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Your vehicle is a big investment. Protect it at Hughes Car Wash. We use only clean, fresh water and the highest quality car wash soap. Hughes Car Wash, the car wash pros.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Come on in. Nissan is proudly celebrating 60 years in Canada. Our best-selling Rogue is built for everyday adventure and features standard all-wheel drive and dual-zone automatic climate control. Lease the 2025 Rogue for 30 months or finance for 24 months at 0.99%. Plus, get $1,000 anniversary bonus cash. Offer available on S all-wheel drive model. Conditions apply. See Nissan.ca for details.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
Spring melt is here, and with it comes the risk of flooding basements, foundations, and window wells. Keep an eye on excess water runoff and protect your home. Call Avalon Construction at 780-468-4400, home of the lifetime warranty.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan. For all your residential water needs, your local water treatment company. More than just big bottles, Culligan.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 3 o'clock. How are you? Game day. Sports 1440. Sports1440.ca. Orders Nation YouTube, Facebook, and X. As always, The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor50. Get a free $50 play at PlayAlberta.ca. Oilers taking on Utah tonight. We'll get more into that matchup. We got a lot of text flying in our email inbox, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, my family has never made it through the airport without a tilt from Big John. Hey, Gregor, last year, a study showed that moving is more stressful than having a death in the family from Tiger. Ooh, yeah, I could see that. Like, and then it comes down to like the last minute packer. If are you both like last minute people? Is somebody more organized? How do you do it? yeah, moving when you're a bachelor, it's not even very stressful. I never found it. I didn't move a ton, but I moved probably, I don't know, from the time at 18 until I was married, I probably moved 5-6 times, I would think, maybe more. And I never found it that. I'm not a pack rat, but I was organized. I remember when you kind of help your buddies. It's one of those things. Now, I'm a big believer that you reach a certain stage in your life and you don't ask your friends to move anymore. You get a mover. It's just kind of how it goes. But, or your family, you're pot committed on the move. It's just one of those things. But I could see moving with 3-4 kids. Ooh, that could be a tough one. Hey, Greg's, any vacation with your kids has to be at the top of the list from Sugar Sean. Yeah, I only have one kid, so I've never had much stress on our holidays. So lucky that way. It's kind of pretty laid back. You know, you're in Hawaii, how I can't get that rattled. So I never had, but I see flights with people with 3 or 4 kids, and usually when it's 3 or 4 under the age of 5, I'm always like, how are you having any fun? How is this remotely enjoyable? I sit back as a parent of only one, and I'm just like, oh, this is nothing. Hey guys, first stressful thing is I park my truck 5 blocks from the store, and it's stress waiting for the meltdown, having to walk to the store for my wife. But then the next day she gets mad that I don't go for a 3-mile walk. Are you kidding me? Cons, do you park as close as you can to the door? When you get when you drive through a parking lot, are you looking for prime parking spot for closeness or prime parking spot for less chance of dings?
Probably kind of in the middle. I've never been someone who's tried to get the close parking spot. I'm happy to get those extra steps in when we can. While Ashley was pregnant, obviously we had the luxury of getting that spot, expecting mothers. And now I don't really mind, because usually if we're going into a place, we kind of just throw Benny in the stroller, so the walk doesn't matter. It's not like we're carrying it around. So I'm definitely someone who's going to find the closest spot that's not too jam-packed.
Wow. I can tell you one of the favorite things I do as a dad is park as far as I can.
Extra steps. It's good.
Oh, my son's he's like, Dad, why are you parking here? I'm like, well, I don't like anyone to hit my vehicle. Right. But there'll be other times where it's just like, I like to walk the farthest just to fire him up. Oh, it's so funny.
I went with my dad to the hardware store a month ago. I don't even know what we were buying, but he parked it far away, and he was in just on the line. And I told him that was a terrible parking spot. And he's like, yeah, I hope nobody will go beside me and ding me. I thought that was a risky move, because someone might squeeze in.
I find that people that if you see a bad parker, you're inviting someone to say, oh, I'll give you a little lesson here.
I mean, he's like, I do it far away enough, so I hope no one does. Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. And we know a thing or two about bad parkers working at the mall.
Oh yeah. Hey guys, relationship challenge: teach your wife to golf. Marriage killer from Paul. Well, why? That would be my number one question. Now, unless you're a golf instructor, why would you be teaching your wife to golf? Because you're probably just giving her all the worst advice. Yeah, no chance. No chance. Yeah, that's not one to do. I think almost anything where you have to teach your spouse, unless that's what you specialize in, I think that would be a challenge. Hey, Greg's, try dance lessons to find out how you get along, from Brian. Well, yeah, I could see that. Right? Left, right. No, I'm the leader. You're the follower. Let's get our roles here. What are you doing? Oh, yeah. Ooh. Now, some of these texts come in and they sound very personal, Cons. Like this from Mark. You know, it's a real stressor, guys. Extended family that don't know or act like they're extended. A mother-in-law who insists on living within 2 blocks of you. Oh, I shouldn't laugh. But, you could sense the anger in that text, Cons? It wasn't even in all caps, but it read like it was in all caps.
Proper pronunciation, period at the end. End of sentence.
A mother-in-law who
2 weeks
on living within 2 blocks of you.
Yeah, 2 blocks. That's. I mean, I think at times there could be some convenience, but you're very close to each other.
Well, it's two. Do they live there, but then they just do the unannounced show up all the time? Yeah, I think you have to understand, like, well, it might be your son or daughter. They still have a partner, and they're not your son or daughter. Even if, now I'm lucky. Like, honestly, like, I love my mother-in-law. Cheryl's unreal. And we live literally like, and I've actually told them, I said, like, you guys, because they'll walk by our house because they walk all the time. And I can see them walking. I have to go, hey, Doug, you guys want to stop in? They'll never just stop in. So, which is okay. But it's almost comical sometimes. But yeah, luckily I don't have that problem. But I could see if it was too much. Because some families are raised, like Italian families, Portuguese families, like they see family all the time. Right? That's just kind of how it is. But if you marry into that, I think you got to be expecting it. Otherwise, it's probably going to be a big culture shock for you. Like, what do you mean? We're seeing your family again? Didn't we just see them 4 days ago? It's kind of how it is, right? So you got to be prepared for that. That's a good one.
We had someone walk by and didn't say hi to us. Mark Majot.
Really?
He walked past the studio like 5 minutes ago.
Oh, you saw him? He didn't
I
say
just
hi?
saw him. I had to text him. Was that you? He said, yeah.
Oh.
Didn't want to bother us. But
Oh, well, yeah, that's MASH.
that's,
what?
unannounced drop-ins,
Pretty,
okay.
pretty quiet guy. Yeah, he could have knocked the door. Could have told us what's going on. Talked a little U of A with him.
Yeah.
No. Wouldn't have been bad.
But I will say I was guilty of that with my sister, the unannounced drop-in, like just to see the niece and nephews, things like that. I was pretty guilty of that. So you just got to tell people, like, give us 10 minutes, 20 minutes heads up. And I think most people are pretty understanding. I would have been at least.
All right, guys, isn't just driving with your spouse stressful enough? Oh, who is the comedian? He had an unreal bit. I wish I could remember his name. I've seen it on Instagram where he talks about, and he's like, when I drive, I got my little helper. He tells me where to go. Yeah, it's like, hey, you know what? You want to turn up here. Oh, really? It's not like I've driven on this road 1,000 times, but thanks. And then they wonder, like, why are you getting annoyed? Well, imagine if I was like, hey, do you want to put a little salt in that? Oh, do you know? No, now you put salt in it. Like, oh, I agree, man. Like, the back seat or the side driver is the worst. And it's like they have their imaginary brakes on their side of the car, right? Like you're driving, dude, you put on the brakes sometime and you can see them because it's not like I don't have peripheral vision. And you see them like they're stamping their foot. You're like, really? What are you doing over there? And because sometimes it'll be like, is your brake working? Right? It's like, calm down, relax. Oh, that is another one for sure. There's lots of, like we could lower the divorce rate. Guaranteed, Cons. We should come up with like the 10 things to do before you're married. Because I'm telling you, those are a lot of things that'll lead to the stress and that'll lead to the breakdown. Now, obviously there's some, Captain Obvious things don't do, like, hi, don't cheat on your wife. Don't cheat on your husband. Top of the list. Okay. But there'd be a lot of other things. I think we could lower it. We could lower the divorce rate, Cons.
I did tell Ashley that I wouldn't propose until we lived together.
Really?
Yeah. Because she's like, well, we hang out so much all the time. But I said, yeah, but we have our separate places. So I can always escape. I got to make sure, like, and because we lived in a 1-bedroom condo for a long time too. There was nowhere to escape. So once we made it through like a year of that, I'm like, okay, this is it. I'm good to settle down.
Wow. See, I was the opposite. I never lived with, well, I had girl roommates where I was friends with, but I never lived with anybody I dated.
Yeah.
Well, that was like I was like, I broke all the other rules that I was supposed to have. So that's the one I kept. And I was like, honestly, I'm going to know you well enough. Like, it's not like you didn't have sleepovers. You see how they're like, are they dirty? Because that's a big one, right? Like, I remember I had the biggest crush on a girl. I'm not going to mention her name. And I had a crush on this girl, kind of knew her casually, whatever. And finally, I, mustered up the courage, asked her on a date. And it was like our third date. And so I go to her house. And I'm in her house, and I could not believe how dirty her house was. Like, and this girl was attractive, but like, I'm talking like dust where you could write your name on like the ledge of stuff. And I was just like, I can't do it. Like, it was such a turnoff for me. I'm like, it's too dirty. I can't. Like, it's because this is how she lives. It's okay for her to live this way. I can't do it.
Sounds like a Seinfeld bit.
A little bit, but it's true though. Like, there's certain things you're just like, I think there's certain deals that are just like, that's a deal breaker. Like, that you have to be somewhat forgiving and like, hey, I have annoying things, I'm sure, that I do, right? And so there's certain things that you're like, okay, it's not a deal breaker, gotta let it go. But then there's some things you're like, no chance. Like, I couldn't live with somebody who's dirty. No, couldn't do it. Like, they don't clean up after themselves. Like, their kitchen's a mess. I'm out. I don't want to live in that because it's just too stressful for me. Like, I don't ever go to bed with the kitchen. It's always clean. That's my thing. I like to have the kitchen clean. And so there's just certain things you're like, I can't reside that way. So other people, like, they're dirty. And that's fine. I think two messy people, they probably get along great. I don't like the mess. So.
Yeah, I get it. I like kitchen for sure. Things in the sink, I hate it. Got to put it in the dishwasher. Can't let it hang out there. So I can get that. And you at least that's something you would know upon visiting her a few times.
Oh. I'm going to read this because sometimes you have to have humor. Hey, guys, I just want to say dementia is terrible, but my mother-in-law forgot she hated me. So it's been really good. Hard for the family, better for me. From Nails.
Cousin Nails.
Hey, guys, Lebanese families at well. We like all the aunts and uncles come by at 9 p.m. on a Wednesday night to sit and have coffee. It's annoying. Classic. Hey, Gregor, I'm in my vehicle laughing out loud. Your description of the imaginary brake. I've never used that line, but God, is it true? I don't know why it annoys me, but it really does. I've never been in an accident, yet my wife acts like I'm the worst driver on the road. Frank, I can see that. I think you have to tell her, Frank. I think you have to tell her, hey, have I ever been in an accident? No. So why are you over there looking like every time I hit the accelerator, we're going to die? Got to calm down. We'll return. We'll get back to hockey. But, man, the texts today have been unbelievable on things that are stressful in relationships. So funny. We'll come back with Dave McCarthy on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Play Alberta has hundreds of casino games right at your fingertips. Join thousands discovering why Fortune Coin is one of Alberta's most popular games. Fill your reels with golden coins, multiply your prizes up to 6 times, and turn good spins into legendary ones. Land the Fortune Coin symbol to win cash, trigger the jackpot, launch the free spins bonus, and watch as the dragon takes over your screen. New players get 100 free spins only on PlayAlberta.ca. Claim your offer today.
We carry multiple brands. Okay. Hi there, this is Riverside Motorsports, Yamaha, Suzuki, KTM, Polaris, Gas, Husqvarna, Tittersled, Stasic, Talaria, Climb, Thor, Alpine Stars, 509, Troy Lee Designs, and more. Sales, how can I help you?
Located on St. Albert Trail, rideriverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches. We provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
This is going to make you hungry. Booster Juice just dropped new guacamole and black bean grilled fresh options.
What the what?
Yeah, a guacamole black bean wrap, guacamole chicken panini, and an egg and chipotle black bean wrap.
What a trio! Holy guacamole!
Bye-bye, boring as bread sandwiches.
Guac, yeah! New flavors, new cravings.
Avocado up to wraps and paninis from Booster Juice. Canadian-born blending since 1999. Download the Booster Rewards app and order one today.
Want sports talk on the go?
You can listen to 1440 on the AM dial or stream us on your mobile device through apps like Radio Player, iHeart, and Stingray Music.
Edmonton sports fans,
turn to Sports 1440.
1440.
My utility bills are going through the roof. How can I take advantage of the sun and put my lazy roof to work?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Energy team reporting. When you're ready to make your home or business more efficient, Action Electrical has the power to install solar panel systems and EV chargers.
Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta with supercharged skills and strong family values. ActionElectrical.net.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle.
Trouble low down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
Truck month is on at Chevrolet. Get 0% financing for up to 72 months on a 2025 Silverado 1500 Custom Blackout or Custom Trail Boss. With Custom Trail Boss's available class exclusive Duramax 3-liter diesel engine and Z71 off-road package with a 2-inch factory suspension lift, you get both on-road confidence and off-road capability. Dirt road ahead. Let's go! Truck month is awesome. Ask your Chevrolet dealer for details.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at Dr. Vance Elliott.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. The team in Old Strathcona have special training dedicated to reducing the impact of cancer care before, during, and after your diagnosis. From lymphedema to the management of fatigue and side effects of chemotherapy and radiation, they can help. Learn more at leadingedgephysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$3:27. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. We're having a lovely Tuesday. You know what? Some days some of you just need to vent, I think. We're like the psychologist today. Just let it get off your chest. Oh, there are some situations. JR and Red Deer telling us that canoeing is very hard in relationships. My wife and I went on a canoe trip with some mild class 1 whitewater 2 months after getting married. After that fight, it took 6 years before she wanted to get back in the canoe. Oh, could you imagine? Right? Because if you're in the canoe cons, if you're not paddling on the right side of the boat, you got pure chaos. So you got to know, are you on the left? Are you on the right? Woo. I could see it. Now you're spinning in a circle.
Start spinning. Someone's at fault.
Oh, gosh. Hey, Greg's putting IKEA furniture together. Yeah, but rookies try to do it together. You don't do IKEA furniture with your partner. No, like you're just asking for trouble. Now, unless you're experienced veterans of the IKEA, because after about 5 or 6 times putting something together, or different things, you're like, okay, I kind of know it. But there's no words, right? You've got it's not even a stick man. I don't even know what it was. It's kind of like a Barba Papa, almost human-like person that they have in the drawings. And all it takes is putting one in the wrong way, and then you're rattled. Yeah, IKEA furniture that's a test of your character, and that's a test of your patience. No.
Watch the videos on YouTube. That's my advice.
Really?
Yeah.
I just figured out now I know, but the first few times, yeah, you know those screws, you got to put it in, and then you always put one in the wrong side.
Build a crib. Did some kid stuff. Like I just go to YouTube, I find the model, and they have someone explain it to me like I'm 5, and it works perfect.
Oh, well, there you go. Smart.
But I'm not a builder, so most people can probably handle it themselves.
Yeah. Let's go in the room now, brought to you by Action Electrical, one of the most diversified electrical contractors in Alberta. 4 divisions and projects with the design, build, switchgear replacements, new construction, renovations. Need projects done? Action Electrical can help you out. ActionElectrical.net. Dave A. McCarthy from Sirius XM joins us. Davey, how would you qualify your IKEA constructing skills now?
I would say not relevant. I've never tried to assemble IKEA furniture, so I would have no idea. I'm not the most inclined when it comes to working with my hands. I once tried to fashion my own shelf with wood, like real carpentry, in the garage to put a speaker above the garage door. But I did so while the garage door was down and did not account for the fact that when the door goes up, it goes above the rail by a good considerable margin, and the shelf was too low. And it caused a bit of an issue. So I can't imagine my IKEA assembly ability would be very good.
So you've never wow, you have above IKEA furniture. Every furniture in your house comes fully put together. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, yeah, I just don't see why anybody would buy IKEA furniture. Like, there's no need, to be honest with you. But that's just me.
But hey, when you're a single guy, those bedside tables thing for $20 are unreal.
Yeah, but you can get like a quality piece of furniture for like $80, and then it lasts forever, and it actually looks good. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars, but you can get good furniture.
Oh, okay. And none of your furniture, it all came fully assembled, is what you're saying.
That is correct. Yes.
Oh, all right. Oh.
Yeah.
Little class. What about that? That wine shelf behind you? Was that fully assembled?
Oh no, my dad's buddy did this. Are you kidding me? Like, do you see the level of craftsmanship in this bar? The wine rack. Look at these cabinets, right? Like, I mean, come on. My dad's buddy builds houses. He's unbelievable. He can build anything, and he built this.
So you got a pro in, which is fair. I totally no, that's fair. I would do it too. The Toronto Maple Leafs, they spanked the Calgary Flames, especially in the second period last night. There was some concern about their team. Their big guns kind of haven't been very big gunny, if we want to use that term, which isn't even an accurate term, but you know what I meant. What do you make of Toronto here? They're in with Tampa Bay in Florida. They're a very good team. Maybe it was a little wobble late in the year, and teams will have that wobble, but how would you rank those three teams right now?
Well, right now, I think you would have to say Florida is a cut above. And then I would say Toronto and Tampa are duking it out for spot number 2. Do I think the Leafs or Tampa have the ability to beat Florida? I think they could, but I certainly wouldn't bet on them going into a series against the Panthers right now, because it just speaks to the fact how much I like the Panthers. I love that team. Watching them up close and personal on Thursday without Tkachuk, without Ekblad, didn't have Bradley Marchand yet. And I love the quote that Paul Maurice said after the game. He said, "We don't look the same without those guys, but we play the same without those guys." And that's exactly what they did. They have an identity. It's very clear. It's aggressive. It's get right on top of you. It's pressure. It's dump it in time and again. It's pound away. And it's wear you down over the course of the game. And they show no bones about their willingness to get to the front of the net. Both Sam Bennett's power play goals, I think, combined, are not as tall as you or I, a distance from the goal line, right? So I love Florida. I think they have got all the elements. Toronto lately has not been good, but their road schedule really was insane, Jason. Like, for Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner, and even William Nylander to an extent, maybe a little less, they were away from home for the better part of 6 weeks, but for like 4 or 5 days here or there. That'll wear on anybody. I don't care whether you're a professional athlete or not. That's a road weary schedule. And I asked one guy last Saturday, what'd you do on your first full day off at home on the Friday I can't even remember when, and I'm not going to say who it is, but he said, I just laid on the couch all day. So, it's not to build in an excuse, but these guys are human beings at the end of the day. And it's no surprise that their play started to slip a little bit. Now, I liked what Austin Matthews said on Saturday when they lost again to Ottawa. He said, we really got to get our head around the fact that this is playoff time now, and we're playing playoff games, and we've got to get our details to the point where we understand that. And then he came out on Monday against Calgary, and he played like it. He said it, and then he backed up the words, which quite honestly happens far too infrequently here in this city. There's a lot of great talk, and then it's time and again you don't see it the next game. Matthews backed it up. He was great last night. Everybody else followed along. So big week coming up. Colorado Wednesday, Rangers Thursday, Nashville Saturday. Let's see if they can take one off a real good team on Wednesday, and that'd be a real good sign that they've started to get their game back in the right direction.
The Montreal Canadiens. You know what? They just keep hanging around. Give them a lot of credit. Here they are today, 1 point back of the Rangers. They're actually technically in a playoff spot if you go by points percentage, but they're one back of the Rangers. They have 2 games in hand, 7-1-2 in their last 10 games. Do you believe in the Habs? Are they going to get in?
I'm starting to believe in the Habs. I think they've been really impressive, and they deserve a ton of credit. The thing with the Rangers is I also think they've got the type of roster that's capable of getting into the playoffs, though they keep letting other teams hang around. Like they lost to Edmonton on Sunday. I thought Edmonton played maybe one of their best games in quite some time against the Rangers that day. So like I think Ottawa's in at this point. I really do. And in saying that, they're probably going to make a fool out of me again, as they have done many times when I've bought into them, but they've started to create some distance. So it's going to come down, I think, to, Rangers. I don't think Detroit has. I think Columbus is starting to, unfortunately for them, kind of run out of steam here late. And beyond that, Boston is not happening. So it's Montreal or Detroit or the Rangers. Man, like Montreal, they're an exciting team to watch. You'll say that about them, right? Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, they've both been so good this year. Lane Hudson's been dynamic. And now they've got, they're at the point now where they've got some belief, right? They've got some belief. And I think if you had told them, would you take 66 games into the year being a point out of a playoff spot in October, if we had told them that, given where they had been in the past, I think they'd taken that all day long. And so now let's see what they got. I think they've got a chance. Their goaltending's been really good. Would I bet on them making it? It's so difficult, but I think they absolutely have a chance because I think they've got enough quality young pieces here that are starting to find some traction at the NHL level. Juraj Slafkovsky, I think, is starting to play better as well, more consistently. So it's not like they're doing it on smoke and mirrors and guys are overplaying what they're capable of. I think they're going to be a good team soon. Did I think it was going to be this year? I thought they had a chance to get better. I didn't think quite this good. Maybe they're a little bit ahead of schedule, but they absolutely have a chance. And the cool thing is, like, unlike the Rangers, they're kind of exciting to watch.
Yeah, the Rangers, the Oilers just played them on Sunday. My God, the Rangers they just sit back. It's terrible hockey.
Yeah.
To be honest. The Habs are excited. Now they have a tough schedule. They got Carolina twice. They got Florida twice. They play Colorado. They got Ottawa twice. The Maple Leafs. Like if they get in, they'll have earned it. And really, I look at 5 of their next 7 are on the road. They got Ottawa at home tonight. Then you got road game in the Islanders and back home to Colorado. Then you're in St. Louis, Philly, Carolina, and Florida. And really, by the end of the month, we'll probably have a better sense of whether or not they can stay in the race.
Yeah, their schedule is not ideal. And that's the other reason why I'm pretty confident in Ottawa. Their schedule is quite comfortable down the stretch. There's not a lot of travel to long trips. Their strength of schedule is okay. It's not daunting. That's why I think they've got a really good chance. So, Montreal, they'll have to earn their way in for sure. But I think you have to be really encouraged if you're Jeff Gorton and Kent Hughes and Marty St. Louis of what you've seen out of your group to this point. I think there's a lot of reason for encouragement and understanding that we've got something to build on here now. And you got something to sell to the fan base, which I can imagine is getting a little bit antsy in Montreal after such a long time without being at all competitive.
Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM. joins us. Dave, if we look at potential playoff matchups, there's one right now that looks, well, there's probably two. The Hurricanes and the Devils seem pretty locked in that they're going to battle each other. You know, the Rangers would have to catch 8 points on New Jersey. That seems unrealistic. And then Dallas and Colorado, they're not going up to catch the Jets, and doesn't look like Minnesota is going to catch them. We saw them play this past weekend. The Stars had to score 2 goals in 20 seconds to get it to overtime, and then they won. When you look at Dallas, you look at the Avalanche. Now, obviously, the big caveat is that Miro Heiskanen could be ready for the playoffs, and maybe even Tyler Seguin. But maybe Gabriel Landeskog, who's suddenly skating for the Avs. Two teams who really loaded up, and one of them is going out in the first round. Do you like either one of those teams, or is it too early to tell because we don't know who's going to be in the lineup?
Well, that's part of it. I'll try and get better intel on Gabe Landeskog. He's coming on the trip. He's in town. In fact, probably landing as we speak. He's going to be at the barn downtown on Wednesday. So that'll be interesting to see. You always have to, I think, take that with a grain of salt. Guy hasn't played in 3 years. What kind of player is he going to be? I don't know how much you can expect from him, especially jumping into the Stanley Cup playoffs. But if he was able to get back, that one would be a pretty damn cool story. 2, I'm actually seeing a report out today that suggests Miro Heiskanen could miss the first round of the playoffs. So he may not be available immediately. And in that case, that'd be a big loss for Dallas. That'd be a big loss for Dallas. He's their number 1 defenseman. And to not have him available against a quality opponent like Colorado, who I think one of the strengths of their team is their back end, that'd be a significant advantage in favor of the Avalanche. Jake Ottinger, too. His game has been kind of inconsistent of late. And that's where I think they have a perceived advantage on Colorado, is between the pipes, but he's got to play like it. And if he can get his game to where it needs to be, then they should have an advantage there. But man, I just kind of have a hard time counting out a team that has Nate McKinnon and Cale Makar playing the way they're both playing right now. Both guys are playing out of their minds. I think it'd be a good series. I think it'd be a long series, but I think I'd probably have to go Colorado in 7, especially if Dallas doesn't have Heiskanen in the lineup.
Dave, I want to get your thoughts. Oiler fans are still kind of patiently, but maybe impatiently waiting for Trent Frederick to get on the. I know he skated yesterday on his own, so at least he's back on the ice now. We'll see where it goes from here. I don't expect him to play this week. Maybe next Wednesday would be the earliest. He can play wing and center. Physical guy. Looked at his 5-on-5 numbers last year. Is top 75 in scoring amongst NHL forwards. Like, that's a legit top 6 guy. Yeah. You saw him a lot. What is Frederick going to bring to Edmonton when he's finally in the lineup?
Well, he's a big body. And that'll help Edmonton, especially a guy who plays down the lineup. He's feisty, like he's mean. He gets in the mix. He's always agitating, especially come playoff time. Real pain in the ass for the Leafs the last number of times they played Boston in the playoffs. And he's got the ability to score timely goals. So I think he's exactly the type of guy that Edmonton has been missing, because I think he can help to put the Oilers in a better position to get something more consistently from down the lineup and turn, a line of maybe himself, maybe Connor Brown, maybe Vasily Podkolzin into kind of an identity line and be a line that's really difficult to play against and has the ability to contribute a little bit offensively. As good as the Oilers played the other night on Sunday, and I thought it was one of their better games in some time, where the goals come from, the usual suspects, right? So that's all well and good. And look, I'll tell you all day long, if your team is going to have any success, your big boys have got to be the ones that drive the ship. And in that case, I have no doubt in Edmonton that they will. But in saying that, that's not going to be enough. You need to get occasional contributions from down the lineup. And I do think that Trent Frederick will be a guy that can do that in Edmonton. He did it for many years and did it effectively in Boston.
Dave McCarthy joins us. Last one, Dave, you look around. I don't know if you saw my articles. I wrote about the And I talked about it on your show on Sunday about the drop in power play opportunities across the NHL, and it's significant. 747, 60 by Minnesota, 56 St. Louis, 55 Vegas. Like the West has a huge, massive drop off. I specifically went on the weekend and watched a period of every game. And in every game, I saw a call where I'm like, that should be a penalty. And I'm not encouraging every call. Like, I don't want ticky-tack calls. I'm like, that's a blatant penalty. Like you look at the easiest ones on the weekend. How the hell Dickinson doesn't get a penalty for running Hedl from behind? Like, give me a break, right? Like those. So the painfully obvious ones aren't even getting called. And the NHL, they don't seem to have an answer for it, right? And I'm not even sure they have an appetite to want to change it, which I think is very concerning, because guess what? The less penalties you have, the less goals you have, the less lead changes you have, the less excitement you have.
Well, yeah, you're right about that. And we've been saying that throughout the year in the press box here in Toronto, is that, man, it's like, oh, you call that, but man, of all the stuff that got let go before, now you call. And there does seem like there is an absence of consistency in terms of the standard of officiating that I've picked up on as well. The only answer I could have for that, and I'm not saying that someone has told me this, but is that there has been a desire on the part of the league to diminish the amount of time spent on special teams. That would be my guess. And again, no one has told me that there has been an edict of that nature, but evidence would suggest that that might be the case. So, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it turns out in the playoffs, which typically speaking is a game that involves even less penalties than the game in the regular season. Will there be a drop? I don't know. I kind of hope not, to be honest with you, because there is some stuff getting let go that really should be called.
Yes.
And it's affecting the way the game is being played. I'm surprised, to be honest with you, unless the idea was that we're spending too much time at special teams and would be better to have more of the game played at 5-on-5. But in saying that, and you and I both agree on this, if you call the penalties consistently that are penalties, players will ultimately start to adjust when they know what they can and cannot do. But it does seem a little bit like open season at this point.
I don't understand why. That's, to me, all you do is, and I don't know another league that punishes their star players for being better than their opponents more than the NHL does.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the nature of the game, right? Like in basketball, best players have the ball all the time, but they consistently draw a ton of fouls. In the NHL, Connor McDavid has the puck all the time, and he's got to deal with people whacking, hacking, and all that. Guy on the fourth line doesn't have to deal like that because he never has the puck very often. And so what you're doing is you're diminishing Connor's ability to be productive, because you're allowing people to take liberties on him that people do not take on the guy on the fourth line because he's never in a position to burn you. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see, but it has been noticeable. I will agree with that. And I read your piece and it made a lot of sense. So we'll see what happens in the playoffs, but it does seem to me like there has been a drop, and why that is the case, that's a hard one to say.
Davey, great stuff, man. We will chat with you on the brunch on Sunday and next Tuesday here in our show. Have a great week.
Right on. See you, buddy.
There you go. That's Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM 348. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. We got to talk a little bit about some matchups that I find intriguing. Some other sports angles that we haven't touched on next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
There's an old saying that goes, many hands make light work. We believe that at GS Construction. So what does it mean? It means a task is easier to complete when many people work together. It also means that GS Construction is preparing for the start of the 2025 season and is hiring. Currently, we're on the lookout for top men and pipe layers. So if you're one of those skilled pros who know how to do your job safely and efficiently, we're interested. Come join a team that's as solid as the infrastructure we build and maintain. Visit tsconstruction.ca today.
RV Wars hits the north side March 27th to 30th at the Old Lowe's building. Go RV, Vision RV, and Arcan RV have joined forces for RV Wars. Take advantage of pre-tariff pricing on travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes, and more. The last of the 2024 models are being cleared out. Make no payments for 6 months OAC. Now is the time to buy with special discounted finance rates. Free admission with a donation to the food bank. RV Wars on the north side, 9603 165 Avenue. Visit rvwars.ca.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Are you tossing and turning all night and stiff and sore the next morning? If your sleep is suffering, it's time to visit the Brick Mattress Store. Their sleep experts will help you find the right support for a restful night's sleep. Back sleeper, side sleeper, hot or cold, there is a perfect mattress for you. Plus, with next day delivery, your best night's sleep could be tomorrow. Check out the Brick Mattress Store locations in Spruce Grove, South Edmonton, St. Albert, and Leduc, and start waking up refreshed.
This is a slam dunk. Dive into Edmonton's vibrant basketball scene with exclusive interviews and expert analysis. I'm Paul Sir, and I host The Basketball Show every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440.
Explore beyond the boundaries of capability and value during Truck Month at GMC. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Pro Graphite. With a TurboMax engine delivering 310 horsepower, GMC Pro safety features including automatic emergency braking, plus a max towing of up to 9,500 pounds. You'll be ready for anything this Truck Month. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
At Papa John's, you get your everyday favorites for just $9.99 each when you order 2 or more items from the Papa Pairings menu. When you order more, you save more. Choose from medium one-topping pizzas, boneless wings, papadillas, breadsticks, cheese sticks, and desserts. It's easy to order all your favorites when they're just $9.99 each. So the next time your friends come over to eat your food, check out the Papa Pairings menu to save. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
You'll say we got nothing in common.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Action Electrical. They're the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta with 4 divisions in project, service tag, and solar for commercial or residential. Contact them today at actionelectrical.net.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.353 Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. You know, and we got this idea. I think, you know what? Hey, Greg's, I'm wondering if you guys will give us some, I want to fill out a bracket at work, but to be honest, I don't know anything about it. I don't expect you guys to know all of it, but do you have any insight? Well, you know what? Tomorrow, we'll bring in Declan. And at, let's do it at 3 o'clock tomorrow. And we'll give you an educated insight. Now, obviously, there's always going to be upsets. No one's getting a perfect bracket. But to increase your odds for your bracket, yes, we will do that tomorrow at 3 o'clock. All right? We'll kind of go through it. There's now, hey, nowadays, you never know. Is there going to be another 16 upset? 15? It was so much, portal and transfer movement in NCAA. I think upsets are going to become more the norm. At least upsets as far as, the real high seeds and low ones. It's just going to happen because teams are moving around so much more. And so then you look at a team that comes in and maybe they're a higher seed, but they've got the same guys that have played together all the time. And I think that matters in tournaments like this. So I know Deck's big into it. So we'll talk about that tomorrow at 3:00. So we'll give him some homework. So he's got 23 hours to be prepared. I like it. It's good. Hey, boys, Hyman Ekholm playing tonight from El Nate. Bango on both of them. Yes, Hyman will play with McDavid and Jeff Skinner. You're going to have Perry, Brown, and Draisaitl as the second line. Nugent Hopkins, third line center. Adam Henrique is the fourth line center. Tonight, as Max Jones comes out of the lineup, as Hyman comes back in. On defense, well, the sixth defenseman will be Bouchard, Ekholm, Nurse, Wallman, Kulak, and Emberson. As far as the pairings go, you're going to see a lot of different combinations. Matthias Ekholm is going to be playing 22 minutes a night. So Wallman's going to play some shifts with Bouchard. Then Ekholm will play some shift with Bouchard. Kulak's going to play on the right side with Nurse. You might even see Nurse with the Emberson a few times. You're going to probably see Nurse with Wallman a lot. So expect some different combinations. That's right from the mouth of the head coach, Chris Knobloch. So I would I wouldn't get too caught up in the D pairings. I honestly think even when Ekholm is back, because he hasn't played in a while, so they play 3 games in 5 days. They don't want to overtax him. There's no reason to at this point, especially with the way Jake Wallman's playing. Like Jake Wallman is playing great, and I honestly believe for Ekholm to get back to playing 22 minutes a night, he's going to have to play outstanding because Jake Wallman's been really good since being acquired. And why would you cut his minutes that much if the other guy isn't playing better? Right? That's how it's going to be. Hey, guys, I heard you talk about the level of officiating in the NHL being the worst. I'm thinking that's bad because the NHL hiring all these ex-players who never grew up officiating hockey but are thrown into because of their hockey knowledge from the Liney. Well, you know what, Liney? I have talked to so many officials about that, guys who've been refs, and they say it is the #1 issue. So you have guys who played hockey, they played NCAA, played minor pro, even some guys who had cups of coffee in the NHL. And then the NHL is like, oh, let's recruit these guys. Well, because they can skate. Like, they're NHL players. They're good skaters. Well, so what? And they're like, well, they understand the game. Well, understanding the game and knowing how to call the game are two very different things. Two incredibly different things. And you have to get reps in. Like, think about, it's very simple, but think about, the outlier, and it's 10,000 hours, right? Malcolm Gladwell. You talk about really understanding something, you got to put in all that time. So officials who start officiating when they're young, learn from their mistakes, keep officiating, go to the next level, they're going to understand more of the game. They should have a better feel. Now, they might not all be the best skaters, so some of them are going to get weeded out. Just like players who play in the WHL, 97% of them don't play in the NHL, right? Like, it's hard. So it's probably going to be the same for officials. I get it. But to ask somebody at the age of 25, okay, let's teach you how to referee. Okay. But then they better spend quite a few years in the minors to really get an understanding of it. No? It would seem, unless you think you've got some savant as an official, I think that's part of it. However, I also just think it's a part of the NHL and their desire to not call penalties. Right there. We don't want the officials to impact the games. That's what their excuse is all the time. We don't want the officials to impact the game. So it's like, well, guess what? If you think it's a penalty, unless it's blatant, don't call it. Well, not every tripping penalty is obviously blatant. Right? Some hooking calls are like you grab a guy, you spin him off balance. Well, that's a little more obvious than I get the stick in on his hands. Guess what? Or a slash. Right? Like we can all see the big wind up and you club the guy, goes down. Okay, that's an obvious slash. Well, what about if a well-placed one just on the hands, boom, the guy mishandles the puck when he's on a 2-on-1? How's that any different? He's entering the zone with speed, loses the puck, no penalty. The NHL, and I'll continue to say it because I firmly believe it. And the actions from the past and the present match it. The NHL has this belief that we would rather make the great players lose their advantage of being great by not calling as many penalties, because that's what they do. Who has the puck the most? The best players. Where are most infractions on? People who have the puck. So who are you punishing? You're punishing your best players. Oh, you got to work through it. Anybody watch NFL? Who's the most important position on the field, Connor Halley?
Quarterback.
Now, some would argue that they've maybe gone too far in protecting the quarterback. No one says that they're like, hey, Cons, you know what? We'll let you guys have free reign on our quarterbacks because we want it to be harder for them to complete passes. Like, just think about how people would say, well, that's just lunacy. But that's what the NHL does. And a lot of people have become accepting of that in the NHL. You know what? You're better. So if you're faster and you're a more skilled player, you could call a penalty on Connor McDavid every fifth shift. Well, you don't want that. Why? Make the other players. So McDavid works his tail off and Nathan McKinnon, go down the list of all the best players. They don't just magically become the best players. They put in hours and hours and tons of hours of work to be that best player. And so now game starts. Let's erase that advantage that you've just spent oodles of hours working on because, you know what? We want the less skilled guys not to have as much of a disadvantage. Can you name any other sport or occupation that does that? Honestly, I don't care if the Oilers play Boston and David Pastrnak draws 5 penalties. I'm like, guess what? Sorry, don't take penalties. It's pretty simple. You get beat, take a better angle. Sometimes, hey, he just makes a great play. I guess my only option is to take him down. All right, then that's what you do. But you can't complain if your team has 5 or 6 infractions called if you want 5 or 6 infractions called on your team. Now, it might not even out every game. It probably shouldn't even out every game. Not every game is played even that, team A, well, they committed 4 penalties, so team B is clearly only going to commit 4 penalties. It's not how it works. Some nights it might be more. Some nights it might be less. But right now, there's too much of, we got to finish the game within 1 power play of each other. And we're not going to call the power plays. Like, that's what the actions say. Now, they might not say those exact words, but actions are saying those exact words. That's what you're seeing on night to night. Go to the game tonight. Now, try not to be biased, but go to the game and watch tonight how many calls should be penalties on both teams that don't get called. Just watch it. And then go, and actually maybe better for Oilers fans, we'll give you homework. Go watch teams that aren't the Oilers. So then you probably will have no bias. Right? Go watch Islanders, Pittsburgh. Right? Red Wings, Capitals. Blues, Predators. And you'll see the same thing. And this is a significant problem. 402, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Let's get to Sports Update, brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. Truck month is on now at GMC. You get a $5,000 cash purchase credit on 2025 Sierra HD models. See more at gmccanada.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
It's game day. The Edmonton Oilers in action tonight, hosting the Utah Hockey Club down at Rogers Place. Puck drop just after 7. Pre-game coverage here on Sports 1440. It's going at 6 with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson. Elsewhere on the NHL, you got the Sens, Canadiens, Rangers, Flames, Islanders, and Pittsburgh. Caps host the Red Wings, Blues take on the Preds, Stars, and Ducks. Kraken in Chicago, and the Jets travel to Vancouver. In the association later night, 4 games on the schedule. Hornets host the Hawks, the Nets in Boston. Warriors taking on the Bucks, and the Cavaliers head to Los Angeles for a meeting with the Clippers. In the PWHL, you got Montreal and Boston getting going in just over an hour. And in the dub, the Raiders host the Warriors, Pats taking on the Broncos, and Victoria in Kamloops. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Ken Reed from Rogers Sportsnet, former NHLer Jason Strudwick, and the last 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Play Alberta has hundreds of casino games right at your fingertip. Join thousands discovering why Fortune Coin is one of Alberta's most popular games. Fill your reels with golden coins, multiply your prizes up to 6 times, and turn good spins into legendary ones. Land the Fortune Coin symbol to win cash, trigger the jackpot, launch the free spins bonus, and watch as the dragon takes over your screen. New players get 100 free spins only on playalberta.ca. Claim your offer today.
Dang. Last season, you bought new clubs to fix your game. You spent the entire season trying to learn how to hit with your magic clubs. And guess what? Dang. They didn't help your game. Now you're convinced it's your swing, but it really is your clubs. Even though you were told the ones you bought were the best ever made, if they were, you would have gotten better. Every day at Fitted Golf, we continue to prove the right clubs make all the difference in the world. From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference. Yes, fittedgolf.ca.
The 2025 Ram 1500 Motor Trends Truck of the Year in St. Albert Dodge is knocking 10% off the price. That's right, 10% off every single Ram 1500 they have in stock, and over 100 are available. These are the 2025's new interior and drivetrain options with increased horsepower and better fuel economy. Other dealers save their best deals for last year's model. At St. Albert Dodge, they're taking 10% off the newest, hottest truck on the lot. That's how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Riverside Marine and Motorsports are back for the 2025 Edmonton Boat and Sportsman Show, March 21st to 23rd. Discover new 2025 models and exclusive offers like Yamaha finance rates and big rebates. Riverside Marine and Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada, with sports and entertainment properties including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. It's Terrific Tuesday. Get 40% off any regular price pizza when you use the code word 40Tuesday at the start of each order at papajohns.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 4 o'clock on a lovely Tuesday afternoon. Beautiful day outside. Hopefully keeps warming up, baby. After St. Paddy's Day. Go. I like it. Oilers taking on Utah tonight. Welcome back to the Gregor Show, presented by playalberta.ca. It is Lotto Max Tuesday. $50 million up for grabs and 2 $1 million Max Millions. Get your tickets today at playalberta.ca. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our ewell inbox. Coming up later on this hour, Struddy will be by. We'll talk to him about the D pairs and why I think it's beneficial to move some guys around on a regular basis. I actually think that could be beneficial long term for them for sure. Also, we got Spec coming up, DVD. We'll go back into the Oilers locker room a little bit later on as well. Hear more from Coach Knobloch as well as a few of the players. Hyman and Ekholm both playing tonight, in case you were just joining us. Also, we wanted to talk about, we talked earlier about, teams and, needing to be better. If you look at the games tonight that matter, obviously the Senators, they've been rolling. So the Habs, but Montreal and the Rangers playing a Flames team that I just, like, the Flames look to me a little bit like Columbus. Like, they had this great run and now they're just like, it's starting to die out. And, with Columbus, it's been a great run. I don't think anybody expected them to be there, but it just seems to be catching up with them. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they got one last surge in it, but it just seems like the air is starting to deflate out of them, similar to the Calgary Flames. Like, the Flames got spanked last night in Toronto. And then you got some other teams, like the Penguins got nothing to play for, and suddenly they're winning. All they're going to do is play their way out of a top 10 draft pick. Well, and you can never ask players to lose on purpose. I totally get it, but it's an odd one for sure. Let's talk some hockey, a little baseball, and more. Ken Reed from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Reader, how you doing, my man?
I'm great, Gregor. How are you, buddy?
Hey, I'm good. I saw the report, Reader. 550 to maybe 600 mil offer for Vladdy Guerrero. Do you think it comes to fruition?
There's no reason why it shouldn't. If you're only $3.5 million apart per season over a 14-year career, and you're talking about the money the Blue Jays can play with, there's no reason why it shouldn't. No logical reason why it shouldn't. So maybe there's something we're all missing, right? But yeah, when you look at it from a pure numbers point, there's no reason why both sides shouldn't just get together. I mean, flip a coin at this point, right? Really, if you want to stay here and you want him, and it's over that kind of money to a business this big as Rogers, just flip a coin. Just get it done. Put egos aside. I don't know if egos are playing a role in this, but it's been a public relations disaster so far. Guerrero says he doesn't want to talk about it. Well, guess what? You're going to have to talk about it. Wherever he goes this season, it's going to be a story wherever he goes on the road. It might die down a little for home games, but on the road, it's going to be a story. So if you really want to stay here, if you're Guerrero, and if you're the team and you really want to keep him, just get it done.
Yeah, like, to me, when Buster only reported the exact numbers, you're like, what are they waiting for? Get this done before you get to the regular season. Like, what's the problem here? Unless Guerrero's like, I'm just not re-signing. Like, because there is, so maybe there's a Mitch Marner element here. I'm not sure. But if those numbers by only are true, it would seem pretty easy to bridge that gap if both sides truly wanted to.
Yeah. So why was the number leaked? Who leaked the number? Was the number leaked to humiliate one side or the other, to pressure one side or the other? So to me, there's more to the story that we're not catching on to. Maybe there's some desires to go somewhere else or to not come back for either side. But if you just look at from a purely logical numbers point of view, it makes no sense that you're separated by about $3.5 million a season. What's that? A crappy relief pitcher, right? Like how many players in the major leagues make millions and we've never heard of them? So you're telling me you can get Vladimir Guerrero for that more a season for like the price of a middle reliever and you won't do it? Something's not adding up. It's kind of strange.
Do you believe Mitch Marner re-signs in Toronto? And is it only predicated on what happens in the playoffs?
Playoffs are everything in this town. Nobody cares about the regular season anymore. I guess the funny thing is if they do have success in the playoffs, his price goes up. The Rantanen thing was so interesting when he was asked to waive his no trade clause. So I don't know. I honestly don't think he's back. I think this might be it for him in Toronto, especially if they don't have success. Again, with this core, you have to change things, and it's pretty easy to let him walk or at least trade him before the draft and get something. But I think the cap is going up, but it all depends on what happens in the playoffs because no one in this town even cares about the regular season. It's funny, the Leafs until last night hadn't exactly been, styling as of late, but there's no real panic in Toronto. Like people aren't pleased and they say, oh yeah, same old Leafs again, but they're not panicking about it because they know it's all about playoffs here.
You look, the Calgary Flames were in town last night. Wolf was solid in the first period, and then they got absolutely dominated in the second. He got the third period off. Calgary, to me, it looks like, a team that they had a great run. And now they do have a very tough schedule. They play a lot of the top teams, and it just seems like the air is just slowly going out of the balloon.
It's tough to play the hard way and the right way every night. And if Calgary's going to have success, they have to play the tough way and the right way every night. And if you even take a hint of a night off, it's not going to work. I'm not saying they took a night off last night, but I think that's tough to do. And I think that's the Leafs as well. They were having success when they were playing a new way, a way that Craig Berube brought in, a tough way, the right way. And they kind of took the pedal off the gas a little, and it's tough to do that. And they've suffered for it. And when I look at Calgary, I just think they have to play, that hard, grinded out style of game. And that's so tough to do 82 nights a year. I guess they only have to do it 15, 16 more times if they want to get in the playoffs. So to go back to back in Toronto and then to MSG, that's really tough. Look, I probably shouldn't say it on Edmonton radio, but I would love for the Flames to make the playoffs. I think I would love for Calgary to Edmonton to end up playing somehow in some sort of scenario. So yeah, when you're a team like that and you get towards the end, I think it doesn't get easier; it gets tougher. If that makes sense,
Oh yeah.
Winning in October is easier than winning in March. So, yeah, I'm not writing them off totally yet, but yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah, they just, they play hard. They just don't have a ton of skill. They can't score, and you can't constantly ask your goalie to only allow 2 goals every night to win. It's just it's not realistic. It just doesn't work that way. So,
no, it doesn't. But it's weird though. But even if the great teams play that hard way, they'll have more success, right? But yeah, you can't ask Dustin Wolf to bail you out every night. And by the way, I love watching that guy. He's like a throwback goalie. He's not 6'8".
Yeah.
So he actually has to be an athlete. He's got a little bit of the Mike Palmateer in him where he makes these saves and you're like, oh man, or the Grant Fuhr for the Edmonton market. But I love watching Wolf. I really do. He's one of my favorite goalies to watch.
He is actually a very entertaining goalie, you're right, because he's a little bit different than he doesn't just rely on his size to block shots. I find he has good space and reads and reacts quite well. A few other teams that I look at specifically in the East, and the Montreal Canadiens are a good story. The Ottawa Senators look like this their schedule, the way they're playing, 6 in a row winners. The Habs are pretty hot, so 2 of the hottest teams in the NHL going toe to toe tonight. Ottawa looks like they're in. Do you believe in Montreal? Can they get in?
I so want them to. And I so want Ottawa to get in. But so obviously tonight I need Montreal. What you want here is the 2 and the 1, right? Maybe a 3-point game. I need the Flames to beat the Rangers tonight. So I got a lot of stuff going on. I can't bet against Montreal because they've been defying the odds all year. They should not be here. They should not be in a position where they're 2 points out of a playoff spot or 1 point out of a playoff spot. That shouldn't be the case. Now, granted, the Rangers have 2 games in hand, but I don't think anybody looked at the Montreal Canadiens and said, you know what, after St. Paddy's Day, they're going to be a point out of a playoff spot. Be like, what? I mean, I thought they would be, 12th, 13th, 14th in the conference. So it's tough to bet against them. Lane Hudson is just super skilled. He's like Quinn Hughes of the East. So he's fun to watch. That's a team that keeps finding ways to score goals, which is kind of surprising. But I don't want to bet against Montreal. I can't bet against Ottawa. I think Columbus is finished, like you said. The Rangers seem to have found life. And so if the Rangers can just kind of slack off just a little bit, maybe we can get Montreal and Ottawa in those final spots, which would just be a blast.
Yeah, well, the Rangers, Montreal's got 2 games in hand on them, and they're only 1 point back. Now they do have a really tough schedule. They got Carolina twice, they got Florida twice, they got Ottawa twice, they got the Maple Leafs, they got Colorado. Like it's not going to be easy. So if they get in, they've definitely will have earned their ticket, no question, to get to the dance. What about Detroit? Can Detroit get back in, or did that 6-game losing skid punch their ticket?
That did it for me. That was like, okay, they were buzzing and then they lose the 6 in a row. Like they're only 2 out, so I won't say no. But, at least if you lost the 6 in a row, you lost them between 60 and 66. You didn't lose them between 76 and 82. So it's not heartbreaking, but I just find it's so, look, when you look at the schedule and it's just every second night these guys are going and you're like, where do they get the energy? So I think when you get to this part of the year, it's not so much skill. It's just intestinal fortitude and getting up for games and having to have a good team and believing in each other, because you can't slack off at this time of year. We grew up in the 21 team era, Jason, and you could slack off a lot. Like there were nights you could go, okay, we don't really need to win tonight because, we're not going to be one of the 5 teams that don't make it. And I'm not saying teams took a lot of nights off back then, but if you take a night off now, you just pay the price. You can't get a win with 80% anymore. So I think teams that are in good physical shape and rooms that actually believe in each other have the best chance. So I know the Rangers have been through a lot. It's been kind of just a mess of a season, and Chris Drury's not the most popular guy in New York these days. So what's their room made up? We'll find out. I think Montreal's got a pretty good room if they're a team that wasn't expected to do much and they're here right now. I think Ottawa, I think Brady Tkachuk, man, what he brings is contagious to a team. So I think he's a great leader. Plus, Drake Batherson, I make this note for all your Atlantic Canadian listeners, is Matt Minglewood's great nephew. And if you can't win with Matt Minglewood's relative on the team, you don't deserve to win at all.
Ken Reed joins us. Rita, the Toronto Raptors, who are 6-4 in their last 10, have now pulled within 4.5 games back of the Miami Heat, who have lost 8 in a row. Obviously, losing Jimmy Butler has made that team very bad. That's the final spot to get into the play-in, right, to the 10th seed. Do you believe that the Raptors can get in, or is that the worst case scenario for them?
That is the worst thing ever for this team. This team was supposed to suck, right? And they do kind of suck. They just don't suck bad enough. Now they're coming off, they're starting to win, which is horrendous. They're 21 games below 500, and they could conceivably get in the play-in, which would just be a disaster. Just tank. You're going to tank. So many people talked about Cooper Flesch in Toronto, and now nobody talks about it. Honest to God, I can't remember the last time I walked down the street and someone talked to me about the Raptors. Like, people just expected them to be really, really, really horrible.
Yeah.
Maybe not, maybe not at like a Washington Wizards level of horrible, but they expected them to be really bad. And the fact that they're kind of doing this, I think, is kind of ticking people off more than anything. So, yeah. And the other thing is they're winning these games without their best players, right? Like, you look at their starting lineup some night, and Google doesn't even know who they are. So it's really strange. It's really strange. But then again, if you put in young, hungry players, you're going to get max effort out of them. So maybe it's bad. They have to consult with the 1983-84 Pittsburgh Penguins. That's what they should have done, and they didn't. Like, you got to know how to tank and tank right.
Well, it's very true, right? They say, hey, let's play our young guys because it'll increase our odds to lose. And actually, they played their young guys, and the young guys are like, this is my chance, man. I'm in the NBA, and they're killing it. And obviously, Miami is just tanking hard. Like, they've gained those. Like, Miami would have to go 1-9 again, basically, for the Raptors to catch them. But honestly, the way they're playing, it's possible.
Hey, like I always say, players don't tank, organizations tank, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you put a guy on the floor, he's going to try. So just quit playing the kids, because it's actually working, and it's not supposed to work. But there's so many bad teams in the Atlantic, and Nets, Sixers, they stink too. So it's a tank off, I guess.
Ken, there was lots of angst in Edmonton. The Oilers obviously didn't play well for a long stretch. They seem to have found their game here in the last 6. They won 4, and the other 2, they probably should have won at least one of those games. Just couldn't score. Where are you at on the Oilers and what you think they can do come playoff time?
I don't know. Like, the Oilers remind me of a girl you kind of like on a Monday, and then you don't like her on Tuesday, and you like her on a Wednesday. Like, remember when Costanza broke up with Susan, and he wanted Susan back, and Susan came back to him, and then when he was walking up the stairs to her apartment, he said, oh, why did I go back with Susan? I cannot make my mind up on the Oilers. One night they look great. Next night they look like garbage. And I think with the Oilers, it comes down to the same thing as it does every year. And last year they figured it out. You can't just pass the ball to Will, like Fresh Prince. You can't just pass it to Connor or Leon. Last year, it's such awesome secondary scoring. So you can't just pass the ball to Will. And I think Stuart Skinner, some nights, he looks like $1 million. And other nights, even if you let in that one softie, not so much the one that goes against you on the scoreboard, it's the deflation of the team. So I really want Stuart Skinner to find his game, because I know he has it. I think he's a great goalie. He just needs to find it. But to me, like, Skinner's a perfect reflection of the team, because I don't know what they are on a game-to-game basis. But I do know that if they get it together, they could win a cup. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that the Oilers could win a cup. They just have to get it going, and they have to get it going at the right time.
Reader, always good to catch up with you, buddy. Enjoy the games in all the sports, and we will chat with you again soon.
I will do it. And as always, Jason, talk to you indeed.
Ken Reed from Rogers Sportsnet likes the deep pucks. We'll return a guy who always liked putting it off the glass and out, Jason Strudwick. Next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
People are always curious about what GS Construction does. They know it's something to do with construction because it's in our name. But our work at GS Construction isn't just about the projects we do. It's about people. This season, you'll see GS Construction improving underground infrastructure in the places we call home. So we're looking for crew members to work with motivated and friendly team members. Sound like you? If you want to join a team that cares about the community, your community, visit gsconstruction.ca and apply today.
Well, get ready for a silly, hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
There's one. And another. No, not spring flowers yet, but rather huge deals. It's GMC's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick. Nab 0% financing up to 72 months on our most popular Sierra half-tons, or massive discounts starting at $8,000. Choose your truck from a great selection, like the fabulous all-new Canyon, right up to the trailer-hauling Sierra HD with the industry-leading Duramax diesel. Spring into Wolf GMC Buick today and snag your truck, and see the savings at wolfgmcbuick.com.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Are you tossing and turning all night and stiff and sore the next morning? If your sleep is suffering, it's time to visit the Brick Mattress Store. Their sleep experts will help you find the right support for restful night's sleep. Back sleeper, side sleeper, hot or cold, there is a perfect mattress for you. Plus, with next day delivery, your best night's sleep could be tomorrow. Check out the Brick Mattress Store locations in Spruce Grove, South Edmonton, St. Albert, Leduc, and start waking up refreshed.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, hot, cold. Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, to the vents start pushing out tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a deal from Legacy! Oh yeah, save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Did you know that Japa offers in-house and on-site heavy equipment service? Rain or shine, Japa's service department is here for you. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$4:28. Time for our, hey, let's get to Struds On, brought to you by Silent Rides Charter Company, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches that safely take your team or group to your next destination. Book your ride today at silentrides.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show presents Struds On.
I don't believe in tea bags. I use loose leaf tea. It is so much better than the tea bags. I'll eat tea bags. I'll
Struds On.
I'm not a huge DJ guy. I mean, I guess if you had me a couple glow sticks and a tight white t-shirt that I can get wet, maybe I'd be into it.
Struds On.
There's a lone steakhouse I used to go to down in Kentucky, and they had bowls of peanuts. I wasn't sucking on those ones. You need to have clean nut. I'm talking about the kind you get in a bag at an Elks game. You know what I mean?
It's time for Struds On.
Give me a glow stick and I can get wet. Unbelievable. Jason Strudwick joins us. Struddy, how you doing?
Tip top, buddy. What's up with you today?
Well, I'm sitting there wondering. You listen to head coach Chris Knobloch, and Matthias Ekholm comes back in the game, and he basically says kind of what I've been thinking. Now with Wallman here, kind of almost have like a top five rather than just say we're going to play four guys and Brett Kulak's only going to be in our third pair. You're going to rotate guys in and out. Like, you're the D man, but man, I've really been impressed by Jake Wallman's game. What have you thought of him since the acquisition?
Mm-hmm. Well, it just obviously makes the group a lot deeper. And it's something they haven't had, another guy, because they had CC most of the time, and CC, he moved the puck decently, but he didn't skate or snap it around like him or have quite the same shot as Wallman, although, CC did score some pretty big goals at times. So I like the element he brings, that puck movement, that ability to carry it a bit. But I think what's going to happen now if when everyone gets healthy, and you're right, it'll be 5-1, Emerson or Stetcher will probably be the 5, or I guess Klingberg. But the challenge for Wallman is to figure out what he is on this team, because he's not the number one power play guys. I don't think he'll be the number one penalty kill guy, although if he keeps blocking shots like that, he's going to get opportunities on there. So Ekholm eats a lot of those minutes. So, how do they keep everyone up around that 20-minute mark, the top 5 guys? And that'll be a bit of the challenge, to keep them out there, keep them going, and then let them all understand what their role can be and what their expectation is from Coffey for them to bring each night.
Well, it definitely increases the competition. I think that's fair to say. And that's what guys want. Like, you might see those. I won't be surprised if we see Bouchard and Ekholm's minutes down a little bit, and that makes the team better and probably makes those guys a little bit fresher.
Oh, 100%. And I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing all around. So Bouchard, obviously now we know he's going to get on the power play, and he's not killing penalties less or something. Guys in the box. Then for Ekholm, he's on the power play either, but now, maybe in the second unit, you can have him or have Wallman. Same thing on the penalty kill. It can be, Ekholm will be out there, but guys like Nurse will be on the penalty kill, but not necessarily always the power play. So he can pull guys' minutes back, and he can give you more in those minutes. So, dropping from 23, 24 to 20 or 19, whatever, isn't horrendous. Now, it feels like a lot when you're not playing that much, but Everyone gets into the group, everyone gets going. But I really think Wallman, what am I on this team, and how can I help the best? And that's Coffey's job, to talk him through it and let him know, this is what we need from you. This is what we're really good at this. Let's do this and try to bring it every night.
Struds, Jeff Skinner, do you think he's got him in it to get back to being the finisher that they'd hoped they'd signed?
I don't know that I've advocated for a player this much since I've gotten into media, like to get a chance beside a really good player. Like it's constant. I'm there and saying, give him a real chance. Give him a real chance. Everyone else, Kapanen got a chance last game, and he saw last game, walked out of the corner one time, mishandled the puck, didn't get a shot off. And then later in the game, McDavid slides it over to him, and he isn't able to corral it and put it in. Now, I'm not saying Skinner gets both of those, but does he get one shot off there? I'd like to think so. He's done it because he scored a lot of goals in this league. So I want to believe in Skinner because, man, if he can figure it out beside McDavid and Hyman, that really creates a lot of flexibility in the roster, specifically the forwards, for him being Knobloch. Now, can he do it? Well, what does he have to do? Well, it's obvious you have to move the puck to McDavid. That is number one, because he's the guy that's going to carry the puck. But then you have to get up there quickly, and you have to get it on the forecheck. And then when McDavid has it, find open space so that he can get it back to you and shoot it. McDavid wants to pass to guys. He's looking for Draisaitl all the time.
Yeah.
So I think he has to find ways to get open, work hard. And so when you're trying to score it, I always found, not that I did it, but when I was playing against guys, those guys are working hard to find the open ice and then understand where McDavid's going and where you can go to make that pass easier. I don't think we'll be seeing that pass we see on the power play from 97 to 29, but there's other areas of the ice that he can find, and he has found them because he's a very smart player with other centers. Now find with Connor. Now, the problem is this could be one period, right? He might have like 6 shifts, and it's really hard to do anything in 6 shifts and create chemistry. But if this can work, it would be huge for Knobloch. That's why I don't understand why he hasn't given this more of a chance. I don't think we're hearing all the reasons why.
Yeah, I think early on the turnovers and the lack of moving the puck quickly was basically why he was off. But I really think Skinner's actually worked on those elements of his game. In order to play in the top 6, you got to be a little bit more dogged right now. Because hey, here's the thing: I know people say, "Well, Gregor, no one else has scored," and that's valid. Podkolzin hasn't scored much. Nugent Hopkins hasn't scored much when he's played in those spots. But they do a lot of the little small things, Struds, that help. Like Leon Draisaitl, there's a reason he kept scoring. Like Podkolzin was doing some small things, not great things, not leading to offense on his side, but he was very good defensively. It wasn't getting scored on, creating turnovers. Eventually they get the puck to Draisaitl, and then the team scores. And so I think that's what they're looking for. But I think the fact that the coach is now going Skinner, he's realizing that the other things don't matter. When you don't have any offense, it can't just be about, oh, well, the guy made the safe play. We need some guys who can make a goal play.
Talk about the ultimate game of playing hard to get. Like this is this would be, of all the people that you like someone and you're just patient, just playing hard to get. This is months of playing hard to get for Knobloch with Skinner. So, maybe if it works out, then he was right. And he got Skinner to understand how to play that way and to be determined and all the things he just outlined. And I think that makes a lot of sense. But, I just give it more than 6 shifts. My concern tonight is that the Oilers get down and then they go back to Leon on that line. Just let it breathe. Let it breathe for more than one game. Like I think 3 games wouldn't be crazy. Take it through the weekend. Give him a real chance to do it, especially, if you're starting to see the Nuge kind of skating the way he did the other night. Like I think of the play where Podkolzin drives it wide, Nuge goes to net, Podkolzin throws it back to Nuge, and Nuge shoots it. Now that's his shot, and he just missed it. But that's what I want to see from Nuge. More skating, and then some other guys kind of you got different guys getting involved in the offense and skating and getting in there and kind of finding a groove. So let this guy, give him, I'd love to see 9 periods. I'd love to see it through the weekend, Griggs. I don't know if I'd bet a lot of money on that, but if I'm him, I want to have a really good start to this first period.
Sorry, this is fantastic that you are advocating for an offensive player. You've really changed.
Well, you know what? Because it just balances the lineup.
Yeah.
It just makes it so much clearer. If that works, then you can say, okay, Nuge, you're going to be, you can be the left wing with Draisaitl, you can be the third line winger or centerman, whatever. He has different flexibility, and then he's still got Frederick coming in at some point. Maybe that takes some pressure off Podkolzin because now he's not on the second line. I mean, there's lots of options. So I want to see it work so he can say, okay, in this playoff series, this worked, for 3 games in whatever March. I'm going to bring this back and put it in there. So I just, and quite frankly, Griggs, I'm rooting for Skinner because I've screamed it from the rooftops. I thought this was going to end in a divorce. I was wrong. And I think you got to credit the player because he's been around a long time, probably hasn't gone the way he expected, with both minutes and opportunity. And he's hung in there. And you're in that room every day. I haven't heard anyone bitching or him bitching about it.
Yeah.
So I want it to work out because, quite frankly, he's worked hard enough to earn that spot. So I really hope it works out for him.
Let's say Frederick's ready to play next Wednesday. Where would you play him?
Well, without knowing what happens between now and then with the players, I'd probably give him a chance with Leon. I really would. Big body, gets around the ice pretty well. He can tap them in there and just give him a chance there, right? Give him a chance. The other option would be, at center, either third or fourth line center. So that depends, what's going on with Henrique, what's going on with Nuge. But part of me is like, buddy, here, this is, we're trying to figure this out right now. You might be a solution with that guy and a big body in there. What would you do?
Oh, to me, it's Draisaitl all day long. He hasn't had a scoring winger on his line all year. right? Like Podkolzin, God love him, great. And hey, I love the Corey Perry story, but I can keep Corey Perry out because Frederick's decent, although, you know, Perry's on one side because Connor Brown's on the other because he's fast, right? And the coach wants some speed on the line. But Connor Brown's not a top six player at all. I'm sorry. He's not a top 6 player for a short term. He's not a top 6 player long term. He's just not. So if I got to move Frederick there, and that means that Arvidsson's got to go back in my top 6 because I want a little bit of speed, then I don't care. That's what I do. But to me, Trent Frederick's the guy I would try. I looked all his 5-on-5 numbers last season. He was a legit, you know, top 4 productive forward in the NHL, 5-on-5. Right? He had as many goals as Leon Draisaitl, 5-on-5. Right? Now it's a little bit of a down year for Leon, but still, he was 73rd in the NHL amongst forwards. That is a top 6 player, and no doubt in my mind. So I'd like to see it. He brings some physicality and bite, and he can forecheck, and obviously that's a benefit to Draisaitl's game.
Well, it creates a pretty heavy line, doesn't it? You know, with just those two guys, and I think that the Oilers they want to have some different looks. You know, some heavier lines. When you get to the playoffs, you know, one is more speed, one's a little heavy. Not suggesting Leon's slow, but that's a heavier line. Then even with Arvidsson, if Arvidsson, you know, he's not the biggest human, but if he's on that line, he plays a pretty heavy game. He gets in there and forechecks. Maybe we're starting to see some life from Arvidsson as well. You know, what has he got? 2 goals in 5 games?
Yeah.
I'd love for him to see if he can get a goal in the next 2 games. You know, maybe you're starting to see it go in for him, and he starts feeling good. Then Frederick can come back, and you know, I know it's not automatic anything, but now maybe that line has got an identity, and he's got some wing support to help him score.
Well, it definitely wouldn't hurt because it's something that they need for sure. And would you, let's say everybody's healthy, let's say Skinner's, you know, decent productive, because the great part is he doesn't have to be a world beater to stay on that line when you consider the lack of production you got from other guys. Would you just roll Henrique, Nugent-Hopkins, McDavid, Draisaitl, or do you think ideally you need a 4th line center who plays fewer minutes?
Yeah, it gets tough because you get into that 4th line, they're not getting a lot of minutes. I mean, Derek Ryan got called up. I don't know, you know, if he's going to get a ton of games. There's a lot of guys there in front of him. I would probably try to keep all 4 of those guys in my top 9. I probably want to push. I'm guessing Henrique down. So then, you know, assuming whenever if Skinner plays and he's able to stay up there, and then you got Frederick in that top 6. Now, you know, it's getting pretty busy in that lineup, but maybe that beefs up your 3rd line a little bit. You know, now you maybe got Henrique and Nuge on the same line, and they beef it up with maybe, I'm not sure, Brown, that maybe throws Janmark down, and they still got to find a sentiment for that line, which isn't ideal. So, but I to be honest with your question, I would keep those guys in my top 9 because I want that up there.
Do you think Matthias Janmark becomes expendable with Podkolzin? To me, Podkolzin's kind of a younger Janmark, reliable defensively, good forechecker, physical, doesn't bring a lot of offense. I'm just not sure on your playoff roster when everybody's here, there's room for both of them.
Yeah, and so to come down again, who's the center, right, on that line? Because I don't think Podkolzin played center. Perry can't play center. I mean, Kapanen at center, I guess.
Well, with Kane and Frederick, then Henrique probably is your 4th line center.
Yeah, he might be. Yeah, he might be, and that's pretty decent depth if that is the case. So then that kind of just trumps what I just said about them not being down there. But yeah, I mean, it's a possibility. And Podkolzin, if he's being physical, he can bring that more than Janmark for sure. And if you look at recent totals, he's been pretty decent on the physical side of it. Because you're going to need, you know, 2 or 3 forwards that can really knock guys around and get in on the forecheck quick. But Janmark's a pretty good skater, and the coach seems to like him. So I think they'll always try to find a spot for him in this lineup.
Struddy, great stuff as always, man. We appreciate it. Enjoy the week. We will chat with you next Tuesday.
Yeah, and I like watching this Utah team. I think this is the team to watch. Heard your interview with Gunter. He's a good young player, and I noticed he didn't credit me for getting him to where he is today, but you know, whatever. People always forget their coaches, right?
Yeah, well, he was saying he learned a lot of what not to do with a puck.
But he learned something. That's all I heard.
It's true. That's true. He did learn something. Very well said. Yeah. Very well said. Awesome, Struddy. Have a good one.
Yeah.
But he did learn something. That's true. Hey, I learned what not to do with it. I can tell you from a business standpoint, one of the best things I learned was from somebody that I worked with was how not to run certain elements of a business. So that is true. So it's a good point. We'll come back. We got 5 questions and more on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Play Alberta has hundreds of casino games right at your fingertip. Join thousands discovering why Fortune Coin is one of Alberta's most popular games. Fill your reels with golden coins, multiply your prizes up to 6 times, and turn good spins into legendary ones. Land the Fortune Coin symbol to win cash, trigger the jackpot, launch the free spins bonus, and watch as the dragon takes over your screen. New players get 100 free spins only on playalberta.ca. Claim your offer today.
Volvo Cars Edmonton invites you to their biggest sale of the year. The March showroom event is on now. Lease or finance a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from 1.99% and save $3,500. Lease a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save $5,500. Lease or finance a 2024 XC40 plug-in hybrid from 0.49% and save $2,500. Don't miss the March. Better service only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
At Papa John's, you get your everyday favorites for just $9.99 each when you order 2 or more items from the Papa Pairings menu. When you order more, you save more. Choose from medium one-topping pizzas, boneless wings, papadillas, breadsticks, cheese sticks, and desserts. It's easy to order all your favorites when they're just $9.99 each. So the next time your friends come over to eat your food, check out the Papa Pairings menu to save. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
RV Wars hits the north side March 27th to 30th at the Old Lowe's building. Go RV, Vision RV, and Arcan RV have joined forces for RV Wars. Take advantage of pre-tariff pricing on travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes, and more. The last of the 2024 models are being cleared out. Make no payments for 6 months OAC. Now is the time to buy with special discounted finance rates. Free admission with a donation to the food bank. RV Wars on the north side, 9603 165 Avenue. Visit rvwars.ca.
Introducing the new McSpicy from McDonald's. It looks like a regular chicken sandwich, but it's actually a spicy chicken sandwich. McSpicy. Consider yourself warned. Limited time only. Participate in McDonald's in Canada.
Explore beyond the boundaries of capability and value during Truck Month at GMC. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Pro Graphite. With a TurboMax engine delivering 310 horsepower, GMC Pro safety features, including automatic emergency braking, plus a max towing of up to 9,500 pounds. You'll be ready for anything this truck month. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Every morning, you look in the mirror and see less of yourself. Hair loss can feel like losing a part of who you are.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we understand the pain of hair loss. Our advanced hair restoration solutions won't just bring back your hair, they'll help you face the mirror with confidence.
Good morning, you sexy beast. Visit drvanceelliott.com today because it's time to be the man you remember.
Spring melt is here, and with it comes the risk of flooding basements, foundations, and window wells. Keep an eye on excess water runoff and protect your home. Call Avalon Construction at 780-468-4400, home of the lifetime warranty.
Portions of this hour brought to you by the Edmonton Oilers. Secure your spot inside Rogers Place during this year's Stanley Cup playoffs by becoming an Oilers full or half season seat holder for the 2025-26 season. Visit EdmontonOilers.com/season seats to join the pre-sale list today.
Tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.448, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Remember, if you do wager, use your GameSense. Go to GameSenseAB.ca to ensure that you stay within your limits. PlayAlberta.ca. As it's time now to get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick and their sleep stores. I got the special sleep experts. You've been tossing and turning, can't get that night's sleep. You're waking up more tired than when you went to bed. Well, go see the experts at the Brick Mattress Store, and they can set you up for a great night's sleep.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, Oilers in the HC tonight. Who's winning and who's going to get the first goal of the game?
Well, let's go the 50-year-old, the 50 boy, just to get it over with. Crowd goes nuts. They want 50 goals. Why not Leon Draisaitl for 50? The Oilers, their last 2 games at home, I thought they played pretty well, Montreal and Dallas. And Utah is a team that you can't just sleep on coming off a road trip. So I think Edmonton had some signs on the road trip. They're starting to get back to being comfortable in their game. So I think it'll be a low-scoring game, though, 3-2.
I'm going to go 4-2 empty netter for the Oilers, which might be a bold prediction as well. First goal of the game, Corey Perry. Excited to see this group with Wallman and Matthias Ekholm hopefully fully healthy. Question number 2 for you. When do you see the Utah HC becoming a playoff team? And when they get there, do you think they're building a group that will be there repeatedly, back-to-back years?
Well, they're in a tough division, so that makes it difficult. But now until they get a top-line center, I can't say they're a playoff team. So can they find a top-line center? And I know they got a lot of cap space, but who are the top-line centers that you can go get in free agency? It might have to be via trade. I think they will be aggressive. They do have tons of prospects. So, you could look at it. But I think until they can land that, it'll be tough for them.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I don't see Winnipeg, Dallas, or Colorado dropping off anytime soon. So it's going to be tough to surpass those teams. Minnesota Wild, very good team. Can they get into the wild card spot in, back-to-back years? Maybe, but like you say, probably got to end some more top-end talent. I'll say they get into the playoffs next year, but consistently will be tough. But I do really like what they're building down in Utah. Question number 3 for you. Countries are going to be announcing the first 6 players to represent them at the men's Olympic hockey tournament in June. Do you like this that this announcement comes that early? Do you think it could be done later?
How many players?
6.
Nah, whatever. Now, Brad Marchand was an early announcement. I don't think he's going to. So if you look at Canada, okay, so Nathan McKinnon, Connor McDavid, Cale Makar. Those are 3 pretty easy announcements, right? And then after that, I think Sidney Crosby is still going to get announced. He would be 4. Who would be my other 2 after that? Now, that's interesting. Obviously, if they get injured, but you've got 3 forwards in defense. I don't think they're going to announce a goalie. So I would probably go, who would I go with after that? It's a good question.
Braden Point?
Yes, Braden Point would be one of my.
Pietrangelo?
He got hurt this time, so I don't know why. I don't know if he got hurt. He was hurt, but he was playing, but then he wasn't playing. So no, I don't. Pietrangelo, to me, for what he did, I wouldn't put him on as my number 6. Doesn't mean I wouldn't make the team, but I wouldn't put him then. I would announce. Honestly, I'd probably go Thomas Hardy. I think he's a hell of a player.
Yeah, good pick. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. I mean, I guess it builds a little excitement, but I just don't think it's going to be too surprising. So yeah, I don't mind it. I don't think they have to do it, but we'll see. We'll see if there's any shocking ones from any of the other countries. Question number 4, an unfortunate incident at MSG last night as comedian Tracy Morgan apparently had something bad to eat, had a little food poisoning, got sick on the court, was taken off in a wheelchair, doing better today, which is great news. But it made me think, when's the last time, if ever, have you been hit with a case of the food poisoning?
You know what? Knock on wood. I've never really had a bad case of food poisoning. I had it once where I had rot gut. My wife and I ate the same thing, and she was up chucking, and luckily I wasn't and feel very good. But that's happened once. That's the only time I can remember in my life where I had food poisoning.
I'm about the 1-year anniversary. It was my mom's birthday last year. We went there. I couldn't even eat. Happy belated birthday, Mom. Few days ago. But yeah, something in the mall food court. I won't throw anyone under the bus, but it was pretty much immediate. I came back to the studio, felt off, got home that night, could not eat anything. The whole weekend, I think I had Powerade and fruit snacks. It's all I could. Yeah, there was just no appetite for anything. It was a real tough couple of weeks, or no, couple of days. But it was right when Ashley was early stages of her pregnancy. So like we were in it together. Like she wasn't feeling good, I wasn't feeling good. It was a tough couple of days, but thankfully for me, it didn't last very long. Final question for you: the Happy Gilmore 2 trailer came out today. Yeah, 2-part question. Are you going to watch this movie? And also, what do you think is an underrated sports movie?
Oh, good question. Will I watch Happy Gilmore 2? God, I really like the first one, but it's been so long. Like, is he on tour again? I don't even know. Like, what's the premise of the movie?
Well, I don't know.
Like, he's on the seniors tour?
He's like, he hasn't golfed in a while. And there's cameos from a lot of the young, good golfers out there in the movie that I've seen, but
right.
I don't know the premise. Maybe,
Okay.
I mean, there's in the trailer, they show the old house and it looks like they're moving out of it. So I'm not exactly sure.
No. Well, I guess, golf, because it's not a sport. You can play till you're older. They got a seniors tour figured out. So yeah, it'd probably be believable. I would watch it. It'd be funny. The most underrated sports movie. Now that's tough because like, I don't think Remembering the Titans is underrated, but it's an unreal movie. Like what would be underrated as a sports movie? Like is Bull Durham underrated? Because I think Bull Durham was unreal.
There might be some people out there that haven't seen it yet.
No. Like what? Like it's hard. Like what would be deemed an underrated sports movie? That's because I think Bull Durham got a decent amount of love. Maybe not, but I thought Bull Durham was outstanding.
For me, yeah, I probably will watch it reluctantly. Like it's a straight to Netflix movie, and I don't think Adam Sandler's latest Netflix movies have been very good. So I'll watch it and probably end up disappointed. An underrated sports movie for me personally, I just Googled sports movies and tried to find one that never comes up when we talk about it. And Race, the Jesse Owens story.
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoyed that one. I mean, it's coming up on 10 years old. So if you haven't seen it, you should. But that's one to me that I guess I would put in the underrated category because I thought it was really good.
Okay. All right. Ray, I haven't seen it. So now I got to watch it. You liked it. Is it on Netflix?
Looks like it's on Amazon.
Amazon. All right. Okay. It's called Race.
Race. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's obviously about the, because I think the race is twofold. There's a little bit of racism involved in that. So
yeah.
I'd be into it.
Yeah, it's good. It's worth your time.
No. Lots of guys are like 8 Seconds. Now that is actually a very good movie. You seen 8 Seconds, Cons?
No, I haven't.
Oh, buddy, Luke Perry was in it. It was, it was Luke Perry. I'm pretty sure it was Luke Perry. And it was about bull riding. It was outstanding.
Okay.
Yeah, quite liked it. It was a good one. Hey guys, what about Youngblood? Yeah, Youngblood might be underrated a bit. People, didn't see it. There's some classic scenes in that movie. It's obviously a little bit cheesy. Like, I liked Youngblood. I don't know if it's aged very well though. That's what's tough about some movies. Like you could watch Remember the Titans today and it's unreal, right? Was it We Are Marshall? You could watch that anytime. Unreal. What's another like Bull Durham you could watch right now? I think it's the same. Field of Dreams, same thing. Youngblood, now it's so different because the games changed, but yeah, it was at its time, it was awesome, I thought. But hey guys, Bad News Bears classic. The original is pretty funny. I like the original. Hey guys, Angels in the Outfield. Come on now. I can't give it an underrated vote.
It could happen.
Connor.
That was the line from the movie.
Yeah. Look, I know. Hey guys, Friday Night Lights is one of the best football movies. That actually is a good one.
Great movie, but not underrated.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like now, like maybe underappreciated.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's tough. It's very tough on
it's got a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. So
what?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It can't be underrated. It's got 97. Yeah. Can't do it.
Actually, you know what? That might have taken me to the TV show. So maybe
maybe
we're onto something.
Ooh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Brian's Song, I think, might be underrated because I don't know how many people have seen it. It is so good. Cons, have you watched it yet? I've told you. Have you watched it? You're a football guy.
Yeah. That was part of the movie watch a few years ago.
You did watch it?
Made for TV movie.
Oh,
yeah.
buddy. With James Caan.
Yeah.
True story.
Good movie.
Did you cry?
No.
You don't cry movies, though, do you?
I don't know. True stories, those Make-A-Wish videos, those will get me, but tough for me to get into it too much, I guess.
Father, son, your son will get sick once, and then all of a sudden, you'll start crying. That's just how it goes. It's just how it happens. It's fine. It's just the evolution. All of a sudden, you're like Seinfeld. What's this salty discharge? I'm crying. You don't know. So it's good. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice as they introduce 3 new food options with new ingredients to create new cravings. The guacamole chicken panini, egg and chipotle black bean wrap, and the guacamole black bean wrap. Visit Booster Juice today. Let your taste buds explore.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day, the Oilers in action hosting Utah. Puck drop just after 7 o'clock down at Rogers Place. We've got pregame coverage for you here on Sports 1440 with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson getting going at 6. You've also got the Jets taking on the Canucks. Blackhawks host the Kraken. Ducks in Dallas. Preds host the Blues. Caps and Red Wings. Islanders up against the Penguins. The Rangers host the Flames. And the Sens in Montreal. In the association, late night, just 4 games on the schedule. Hornets host the Hawks. Nets are in Boston. Bucks taking on the Warriors. And the Clippers up against the Cavaliers. In the PWHL, we're a few minutes away from puck drop as Montreal's in Boston. You've also got the WHL tonight. Raiders host the Warriors. Pats up against the Broncos and Victoria in Kamloops. From the NFL, the New England Patriots have agreed to a 2-year contract with free agent center Garrett Bradbury, who was released by the Minnesota Vikings on Monday. And the LA Chargers signing former Vegas center Andre James. James returns to Los Angeles, where he played college football with UCLA. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Derek Van Diest from NHL.com. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form Action Electrical.
Action Electrical Divisions, assemble!
Projects team reporting.
Service team reporting.
Testing team reporting.
Energy team reporting.
Supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values. Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Are you tossing and turning all night and stiff and sore the next morning? If your sleep is suffering, it's time to visit the Brick Mattress Store. Their sleep experts will help you find the right support for a restful night's sleep. Back sleeper, side sleeper, hot or cold, there is a perfect mattress for you. Plus, with next day delivery, your best night's sleep could be tomorrow. Check out the Brick Mattress Store locations in Spruce Grove, South Edmonton, St. Albert, and Leduc, and start waking up refreshed.
This is a slam dunk. Dive into Edmonton's vibrant basketball scene with exclusive interviews and expert analysis. I'm Paul Sir, and I host The Basketball Show every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer near you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
The Alzheimer's Face-Off presented by Christensen Communities Limited hits the ice April 25th to 27th. This Edmonton-based tournament pairs hockey fans with some of their favorites from the NHL Alumni Association for a fun-filled weekend featuring a champions luncheon and tournament. Teams are already fundraising in the community, enabling the Alzheimer's Society of Alberta and Northwest Territories to continue providing help for today through free education programs and support services, and hope for tomorrow through research. For more information or to learn how you can get involved, visit alzheimersfaceoff.ca.
New Jizz Nuggets. This is New Jizz Nuggets, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. What nugget of heating and cooling advice does Nuge have today?
You can save a lot of money by bundling your new furnace and AC with Legacy. It's kind of like saving money on an endorsement by bundling me, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, with someone like, Zachary Martin Hyman.
Thanks for suggesting me, Nuge. Get no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new AC and furnace from Legacy Heating and Cooling. Proud sponsor of New Jizz Nuggets.
10 treks to Grandma and Grandpa's.
30 midnight drives that became lullabies.
40 road trips to find the best fish and chips.
Measure your RAV4's comfort and memories, not just mileage. It's time to Toyota. Lease a 2025 RAV4 LE all-wheel drive from $95 weekly for 60 months at 6.59% with $3,899 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer today.
Don't settle for being on the rate of last resort if you don't have to be. Check your most recent electricity bill. If it says the words rate of last resort on it, then there are likely better options available for you. In fact, you could save hundreds of dollars per year by switching plans. Check your bill, then go to ucahelps.ca to explore your options. You will likely find a better rate and could have hundreds more in your pocket by the end of the year. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Portions of this hour brought to you by RV Wars. RV Wars is back. Multiple dealers all battling for your business, clearing out the last remaining 2024's pre-tariff pricing. Don't miss out on an incredible deal. Visit rvwars.ca for details.
Tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 5, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you, Sports 1440. Hey, fellas, not sure this goes into a sports movie, but perhaps under a Pool Hall Junkies, unreal cast, not bad plot. Christopher Walken, Chaz Palminteri, Allison Eastwood, one of my favorite movies for independent flicks from John. Well, there you go, Cons. Put it on the list. Things we haven't seen, but maybe should. Check it out. It is the Jason Gregor Show presented by playalberta.ca as you get set to make your way home. Maybe you're going to the game tonight. Oilers taking on the Utah Hockey Club, who rumors abounding online out of Utah that they have decided on a name. Dum, dum, dum. Some people think it's going to be the Mammoth. Who knows? You have the Colorado Mammoth of the NLL. Wouldn't be the first time we have teams in different leagues with the same moniker. Hello, Jets, Panthers, a few others. So definitely could do it. We shall see. The plot thickens. They're going to wait and see if they capitalize on merchandising. We'll find out. It is the Gregor Show presented by playalberta.ca. Maybe they'll put a line on it. I know what they'd be. But Mammoth, wouldn't be surprised. It wouldn't be a mammoth shock to me. Hello, Gene Principe. Let's get to the spec report now, brought to you by GS Construction, the underground infrastructure specialists. And you know what? You want to work for a fantastic company? They are hiring. Go to Indeed.com and look up GS Construction. And they love promoting guys from within. Start out and they work their way to the top. They have many of them now that are in very high management roles who have worked their way up and understand every part of the company. As we welcome in from Rogers Sportsnet, Mark Spector joins us. And Spec, the Oilers, I guess the question will be, can they get some offensive production tonight?
Yeah, you know what? If you're going to, here's what I think we know. Okay, here's what we know. We know that from here on in, they're trying to be a team that plays a defensive game. They wanted the team they were in the playoffs last year was a defense-first game. They limited, and they said to the other team, we're going to have less scoring chances, but we feel like our talent can score more times than your talent can score. And it was a pretty good formula because generally speaking, now they need a better power play for that to work again this year, and they need some help. But the big key ingredient as we get going here, Jay, we all know this, the bigger the game, the more the stars get focused on. So if you don't have scoring from beneath, if you don't have scoring from everybody, some Janmark scoring a big goal every night, you tend not to last in the National Hockey League playoffs. And that's not just this year. That goes back as long as I've been around.
Yeah, it will help. There's no question about that. And they now Jeff Skinner's going to get another look. Jeff Skinner's played a few games here. And you know what? They're looking for anybody who can maybe finish a few chances.
Yeah, it's amazing the journey he's been on. He's a pretty good story at this point, isn't he? Came here. It was supposed to be great. Didn't work. got worked his way all the way to the press box, came back, got a couple more shots with the big boys, didn't work, couldn't last. Here we are, 15 games left. He's playing next to Connor McDavid. What if it works? What if he sticks there and they find some chemistry? Like, as a journalist and a storyteller, I'm kind of liking this story. Maybe Jeff Skinner does figure it out. Maybe he is the top 6 player. Maybe Jeff Jackson didn't screw up. Like, I'd love to see all this unfold. It'd make a great tale, don't you think?
Well, yeah, it might. At this point, to me, Knobloch, if you're going to do it, then fully commit and give him a few games. Don't think, oh, geez, one period didn't work. Now, I will say it, because I talked about it all last week, that I thought Knobloch had gotten a little bit too trigger happy in going to Draisaitl and McDavid. He didn't do it in Long Island. He didn't do it in New York, and they won both games. They were low-scoring games. It's not like the offense was killing it, but he stuck with it. And so I hope he does that. And similar, just say, hey, like, look how many games other guys got on the top line, didn't score at all. So if you're going to do it with Skinner, then fully commit to doing it and say, I'm not going to give you a set number of games, but it better be at least 3. Like, this week is 3 regular season games at home. Let's see what happens. If all of a sudden nothing it works for them, okay, at least you can say, well, we tried it for 3 consecutive games.
Yeah, I think that my sense would be that it rides on Skinner's. It rides on what Skinner gives up. That's what I think. I think it rides on what he gives up. If he doesn't give up anything and doesn't get anything, he's going to get a second and a third chance. If he gives up a ton, he may not get a second chance. That's how I read this coaching staff's sort of relationship with Jeff Skinner this year. And they have never said it. Chris Knobloch has not come out. Maybe he has to you in private. He's not come out to me and said, here's why I haven't kept Jeff Skinner on the top 3 or top 6. He's never told me that. So I'm reading them like I've read, just through experience of reading coaches over the years. And I see a guy who he's the minute Jeff Skinner doesn't get the job done defensively, the coach gives up on him. So he's got to earn the coach's trust defensively. And I think he'll be able to stick there offensively. Am I barking up the right tree here?
Yeah, I think there's possibility there. Yeah, I think it's a little bit of puck management for sure has been part of it. So we'll see now. But right now, though, here's the other thing: the Oilers' lack of offense has become more of a problem lately than which I've been trying to quietly say, and everybody wanted to scream goalie, 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 and I'm like, well, it's not just the goalie. Look at pass a little bit deeper, and because their trend of not scoring has extended here for a while. And if it wasn't for Perry and Draisaitl, it's a pretty big problem. So they need, hey, McDavid has 25 goals, sure. But you got way too many other guys who have to get going. Now, Arvidsson has scored now twice in 6 games. So, okay, that's good. Now, can that continue? Nugent Hopkins had a 3-point game finally. So, maybe it's starting to come. But, man, for the longest time, they just had way too many guys shooting blanks.
Well, and this is why, there's certain things on a hockey team that are absolutes. I'm not here to tell you the Oilers are going to win a cup, and I'm not here to tell you that they can't win a cup. But I am here to tell you this. If they don't have scoring from around their lineup, they will not get through 4 rounds of playoffs. Leon Draisaitl is not carrying this team through 1 round, let alone 4. So it has to come. Every team that succeeds gets scoring. The formula goes a goal from your top 6, or maybe 2 if you're lucky, a goal from your bottom 6 and a power play goal. Now you got 3. I'll lump the defenseman in with the bottom 6, right? So a goal from your skill guys, a goal from your non-skill guys, and a power play goal. You get to 3, you're going to win. If you told me my team was going to get to 3 every playoff game, I might win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, possible. But yeah, if you can get it to every game, it's really hard to do it every game. Obviously.
I'm saying, if you can, you can win.
You got to win the odd game 2-1 like they did in Game 6 against Dallas. Where your goalie's got to steal you a game. You need a few of those mixed in along the way for sure. And so, I look at the orders. I guess the other thing, you concerned at all about Frederick? I know he did skate in a tracksuit, I was told. So, so he's getting on the ice at least. But as I said, it wasn't highly unlikely plays this week. Maybe next Wednesday. That would be the earliest. But does it ever get a concern for you? Or is it like, hey, as long as he's playing in April, I don't really care?
Well, you want him to get as many games as he can. You know, it's a hefty price they gave up. I think I said they gave up a first for him on a previous show, and I know they did not give up a first for him. I got that wrong. I apologize. But nonetheless, they gave up a hefty price to get him. You'd like to get him for more than, you know, like, what if the worst case scenario happened and he just started the playoffs and you didn't beat LA? That'd be a lot to give up for a guy that played 6 or 7 games for you. So, you know, I'm not concerned in that they clearly knew what they got when they traded for him. They're not surprised, but the earlier he plays, the better he's going to be. I don't want a guy sitting out for too long before the playoffs, or he's going to get back and he's going to take 3-4 games to be any good.
Yeah, that's why if he can get to April, that means he's got 9 regular season games. To me, that would be enough.
That's plenty.
Yeah, even if he can get by next Saturday, the Flames game, which, you know, from a fun story perspective, Trent Frederick comes in, he plays his first game. It's at home. It's against the Calgary Flames. He's getting in a tilt. People are going nuts. They're like, oh, welcome to the team, Trent Frederick, right? So yeah, I could see that because his style of play is something the team still desperately needs.
Oh, come on. Like, I remember when, you know, in the days before the trade deadline, like, some guys threw his name out there and I thought it was a pipe dream. I thought, like, to me, a Boston team that's rebuilding, he's not an old player. No. You know, he's a younger, energetic, tough, thoroughly Boston Bruin type of guy. Like, when I heard his name was out there, I was like, are you kidding? This guy'd be awesome, but there's no way. So the fact they got him is an excellent work by Stan Bowman. I give him credit because we all know what things the Oilers need. And to me, Trent Frederick brings every one of them to the table. So let's get him playing. But like this, he's a playoff guy, and this is supposed to be a playoff team. This should be a match made in heaven, man.
Do you think we could see with how Jake Wallman has played thus far, his mobility, everything about him, that we're going to see, you know, Ekholm's minutes maybe, like, it wasn't talked about or not, but Matthias Ekholm wasn't having a great season spec. Right? Probably got overlooked a little bit. By his standards, it was kind of a meh season. And I just wonder if the emergence of Wallman here, you know, we see Ekholm playing, but maybe not playing as much as people think.
Well, certainly you buy yourself the freedom to start him back. Like, let's say tonight you could say Ekholm's been out for a while. He's not killing any penalties, right?
Right.
You know, you have the ability now to break him in a little more slowly because during his time out of the lineup, you've acquired a guy that's frankly so far been a better player than I was told he was going to be. I really like Jake Wallman. Like, he seems, you know, he's blocking shots for you. He's hitting guys in open ice. He seems to be able to defend very well, and he's throwing breakaway passes. Like, he's very adept with the puck on his stick and off his stick. He's a good all around player, man. You know, maybe I haven't watched him closely enough, or maybe playing for San Jose, you don't notice it, but I very much like the player. They made the defense way better by getting this guy. So I guess that means there's a little pressure comes off of Ekholm for sure. But I kind of look at it the other way. I think if Ekholm gets back to being the best player he can be and helps Bouchard to get back to being the best player he can be, and you add Wallman, you made your decor a whole lot better, Jay.
Oh, yeah. I don't think there's any debate on that, which is something they needed to do for certain. And so you get Frederick. Derek Ryan comes up, spec. I look at Derek Ryan. They've got 14 forwards now. You know, and Frederick's not even playing. So I look at this as more of he might get in a game or two, but I think this is more of here's a family guy. We want him around his family. He's highly respected in the room, very cerebral guy, but I'm not expecting him to play a lot. Where do you come up?
Yeah, I think he's sort of the arrival of the first black ace for the playoffs, you know?
Oh, that's fair.
And all the things you just said, I would echo. You know, I guess there's one thing. Their depth faceoff guys haven't really been great. And they don't have a right-handed faceoff guy, you know? So the coaches may find an opponent where they say, we got to get a righty in here, you know? Or there may be a moment where there may be an important game where they say, we need a right-handed draw. Even if he only plays 8 minutes, we need to use this guy. So I guess that would be how he gets into the lineup for me. But generally speaking, I think you're right. He's not a linchpin on this team, but I think we're all kind of Derek Ryan fans a little bit. I'd like to see him find a way to help out a little bit yet.
Spec, we will see you at the rink tonight. Have a good one.
Looking forward to the ball game tonight. Should be a good one.
There you go. It's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. I'm curious, fans, what's your expectations? Has Jake Wallman, does it impact? How much of an impact do you think it's going to have, if any, on the TOI for Matthias Ekholm? I'm curious. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 in our inbox, your partner in power since 1975. For all your electrical gear, one-stop shop, does it all, EWEL.ca. We'll return. Derek Van Diest will join us. We'll talk about a busy night in the National Hockey League and more in the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Play Alberta has hundreds of casino games right at your fingertip. Join thousands discovering why Fortune Coin is one of Alberta's most popular games. Fill your reels with golden coins, multiply your prizes up to 6 times, and turn good spins into legendary ones. Land the Fortune Coin symbol to win cash, trigger the jackpot, launch the free spins bonus, and watch as the dragon takes over your screen. New players get 100 free spins only on playalberta.ca. Claim your offer today.
At Papa John's, you get your everyday favorites for just $9.99 each when you order 2 or more items from the Papa Pairings menu. When you order more, you save more. Choose from medium one-topping pizzas, boneless wings, papadillas, breadsticks, cheese sticks, and desserts. It's easy to order all your favorites when they're just $9.99 each. So the next time your friends come over to eat your food, check out the Papa Pairings menu to save. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Volvo Cars Edmonton invites you to their biggest sale of the year. The March showroom event is on now. Lease or finance a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from 1.99% and save $3,500. Lease a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save $5,500. Lease or finance a 2024 XC40 plug-in hybrid from 0.49% and save $2,500. Don't miss the March showroom event at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Oil Kings Hockey takes the ice at Rogers Place for the final regular season game this Sunday.
It's the Team Awards game. See who scores the hardware pregame for Rookie of the Year, Most Improved, MVP, and more.
With all the family fun Sunday face painting, bouncy castles, and Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less.
Plus a post-game team autograph session.
Edmonton Oil Kings, Red Deer Rebels. Team Awards game, 4 p.m. Sunday.
The final home game this season at Rogers Place before playoff action kicks off. Starting at $20 a seat. Save on day of game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, hot, cold. Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, to the vents start pushing out tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a new from Legacy! Oh, yeah. Save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
RV Wars hits the north side March 27th to 30th at the Old Lowe's building. Go RV, Vision RV, and Arcan RV have joined forces for RV Wars. Take advantage of pre-tariff pricing on travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes, and more. The last of the 2024 models are being cleared out. Make no payments for 6 months OAC. Now is the time to buy with special discounted finance rates. Free admission with a donation to the food bank. RV Wars on the north side, 9603 165 Avenue. Visit rvwars.ca.
Looking at the Alberta weather forecast, wild, unpredictable, brutally tough.
When the weather turns tough, Titan Supply doesn't back down. Titan Supply has been protecting workers from conditions like this for 50 years. We stand tall with you against the elements with the industry's best rigging, hauling, and lifting products to get you home safe. Tire chains, wire rope, round slings, chain slings, and a whole lot more. Titan Supply in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary. Online at titansupply.ca. Lift, dig, haul.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and if you look outside, you'll notice it's not exactly RV weather, but it is time to get your plan together. Our busiest time for spring startups is coming in just a few weeks. So if you want to be ready for May long weekend, you should really book your time right now.
A lot of people wait for warmer weather to book their spring startup.
That's right, Bob, but we're booked weeks in advance for the most popular startup times. And if you've been putting off any small repairs or fixes, this is the right time to get that taken care of too.
You don't want to spend another season with gutter butter leaking down the side of your RV.
No way, Bob. Our used RV maintenance crew will get you ready to roll for the first camping weekend of the summer. And all it takes is a little thinking ahead and some TLC from our service experts. Because the best time to go camping with your family is the minute you feel like going.
And that's no bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Show, let it all out. These are the things I can do.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor. Sherbrooke is a house of curiosities, a mom and pop, a curated experience that is equal parts wine tastings and 2-4s for May long. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Rolling through, Gregor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hope you are having a great day. You get set to maybe watch the game tonight. Maybe you're watching the out-of-town scoreboard. Lots of action going on as we get to the playoff push, brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. And Truck Month is on now at GMC. Get a $5,000 cash purchase credit on 2025 Sierra HD models. See more at gmccanada.ca. Derek Van Dies from NHL.com joins us once again. DVD, how are you, my man?
Good, Jason. How you doing today?
Hey, I'm all right. When you look, the Calgary Flames, now they're down 1-0 in New York tonight after getting spanked in Toronto yesterday. They are 2 points back of Vancouver and St. Louis. Utah also is 2 points back. The Flames are minus 25 goal for differential, and it seems like, the air is just slowly going out of the Flames bubble. What do you feel about that, or the balloon? And do you think they can regroup, or is it been a great run that's now just going to kind of end without the playoffs?
Yeah, it has been a great run, but they just don't score enough goals, Jason. Like, this is a team that's relied heavily on Dustin Wolf and their goaltending and their defense, and they're trying to pull out 2-1 wins and things like that. There's not enough offense there for Calgary, and I think that happens if they don't get a great goaltending performance every night. They're not going to win hockey games, and they rely a lot on great goaltending performances. And I think that's, to me, that was the issue with the Flames. They just don't score enough goals. I think they're towards the bottom of the league in goals for. And so I think that's the issue right now. Yeah, they're at the bottom of the league. They only have 171 goals this year. So you need to score more goals if you're going to be a playoff contention team. Like, everyone talks about it's a 3-2 league. I think it's more of a 4-3 league now. But yeah, you got to get some goal scoring, and you can't rely on the same guys to score for you all the time. So to me, that's the issue with the Flames. But this is a team that's been counted out a lot. They were counted out early in the year. Everyone said, "Oh, eventually the wheels will fall off." Eventually, the wheels will fall off. They didn't look good. Dustin Wolf had a bad game last night in Toronto. They didn't look good, over the last couple of games. But I don't know if I'm ready to write them off, because these guys, they kind of feed on that. Okay, these guys are done. These guys are over. They're kind of feeding on that. No one expected them to be here. So I'm not ready to write them off yet, but they need to find some goal scoring somehow, somewhere from somebody, because they're not going to cut it. You're not going to cut it scoring, just over 2 goals a game. You need more goals from that unit.
What about the Canucks? They get Jack Hughes back. Suddenly Elias Pettersson is showing a little bit of a pulse, but the Canucks as a team, they also can't score really overall. Even if those guys are scoring, they got way too many other guys that don't score. So Do you think they can hold off the St. Louis Blues, who have not only the best schedule, but are rolling right now?
Yeah, and that was a big loss the other night to Utah. Like, that's a big, big game, and to lose that game was really tough on the Canucks. They got to start putting, some kind of streaks together. You're right about Pettersson. Elias Pettersson is starting to get going. Quinn Hughes is back, and he's playing really well. But that's another team that I'm not sure what the direction they're going with. Like, even if they limp into the playoffs, I don't think they're going to be around very long. There's a lot of holes in that lineup right now. And they may get there. They may get there, hopefully, for them, they want Elias Pettersson, the forward, to get going here. They need him to get going. Petey, as they call him in Vancouver. They need him to get going. And they basically said, hey, it's your team now. It's your team. You're their guy. You take it. We've traded JT Miller off. You won that whatever battle that they were having together. They went with you. So now he's got to take it upon himself to say, hey, I can be a big-time performer in big-time games. Because I know last year he really struggled in the postseason. He really struggled against the Oilers. The fans are trying to get him going in Vancouver. So he needs to take this team and drag him into the postseason. And I think that's going to alleviate a lot of the issues that they have in Vancouver with this feud that they had with him and JT Miller and with the issues that they've had there. But, the Canucks, I think last year everything was going full cylinder. Everything was working for them. This year they've gone through some struggles, but yeah, like them, you're right. It's going to be tough to fend off St. Louis because you're right. The Blues are rolling right now. They have figured it out, and they just have to play some consistent hockey, and they haven't been doing that. They're winning one, losing one, winning one, losing one. And if you're going to get into the playoffs, you're going to get into the last spot. You got to put a roll together. You got to swing 4, 5, 6 games in a row, and you're right in the thick of it. And they haven't done that. And so it's still it's a 4-horse race, 5-horse race here. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes down the stretch.
Well, it is entertaining, I'll say that. But the Blues have really, they gotten hot. They got a decent schedule. They kind of have, they're just ending up this 6-game road trip where they've done pretty well on it. And then after that, they've got a really good schedule. They don't have many games. I think they only got 3 left against top 12 teams in the NHL, which obviously makes it a little bit more favorable. And then the other team in that race is in Edmonton tonight in Utah. And they have really come on since they've gotten healthy. Sean Dursey, John Marino, they're both playing in their top 4, right? Sergachev and Marino, that's their top pairing. We had Dylan Gunther on the show yesterday. He's had a really good season. The only thing they really lack there is a center iceman, right? If you look at their top guys at center, Alex Kerfoot, like, God love him, but he's not a top line center, right? And that to me is, I wonder if that's their challenge. Keller's on pace to get to 90 points, which is pretty impressive without a top center, but they play fast. Edmonton, I thought, handled them pretty well on New Year's Eve. But what do you make of Utah? Do they have enough in the tank, or are they just good enough to get close?
Yeah, this is the team. I had a long discussion with Clayton Keller this morning, talked to him about it. They're really excited to be playing meaningful games at this point of the season. Like in Arizona, they haven't done that in a long, long time. I know they made the playoffs in the bubble, but they're almost like that doesn't really even count. They're really excited about getting a chance to play live and die hockey at this point of the season. And I think they did a good job with that roster. They brought in some veterans that have been there before. There's some guys that can help them kind of get through this. They're really jacked about that win against Vancouver. They're like, to them, that was the closest thing they played to a playoff game in about 5 years. So they were really excited about that. And now, talking to Andre Tourné this morning, the coach is like, okay, sometimes it's tough to come down from a high because you got to come down and focus on the next opponent. And I think that's what they're learning. This young team is learning. You got to be consistent every night. You got to play consistently well every night. You can't have ups and downs. But Clayton Keller, like, we're talking to him today, they're really focused, and he thinks that, yeah, this team has what it takes to put a run together and get into that spot. And I think we'll see tonight. They're a quick team. They're a fast team. Their goaltending has been really good lately. So I think they're playing with a lot of confidence that maybe you hadn't seen when they were in Arizona the last few years. So they feel that they've turned a corner, and that's exactly what Keller said. He says, we've turned a corner here. We're no longer rebuilding. We're going straight forward. And I think that the organization is the same way, because Nick Bukestad, we were talking to him this morning too. They said, hey, you could have been traded for draft picks. And I think they're done with draft picks here in Utah. I think they want to get players. I think they want to go out and they want to start being competitive. So it'll be interesting to see the effort they put in tonight, but they're coming in off a pretty big high having played a pretty good game against the Canucks, and they need to put those together. They need to put 2, 3, 4, 5 games together, and I think they haven't really done that. But it's a good team, and they just need to take that next step. So I wouldn't write those guys off. If they can get on a roll here, they can get going, and yeah, they could be one of those guys, one of those teams that kind of sneaks into that last playoff spot.
Well, they play fast, for sure. That's what they like to do. Now, the Oilers can play fast with anybody if they want to. Edmonton, I know there's some stuff about their speed, and they aren't as quick in some situations. I don't think Edmonton played very fast at times. I think Jake Wallman really allows them to play quicker. He's such a good puck mover. He's very mobile. He's on the ice. Nurse is on the ice. Kulak's on the ice. They got really good mobile defensemen. Echo and Bouchard are decent skaters, right? They're not great skaters by any stretch, but they're decent skaters. Like, no one thinks their split speed's a problem. But, like, I really think Wallman, and now, like, the thing for me for Edmonton is, like, maybe Arvidsson can get going here. Right, like you've got 2 goals now in a little stretch of time here, and can that continue? Jeff Skinner's going to get a look in your top 6 tonight. I thought he played pretty well in New York. Didn't get any goals, but played well. And if they suddenly can get at somebody not named Draisaitl or Corey Perry, and McDavid scoring, well, maybe they got a shot here to get.
Yeah, that's the issue with the Oilers right now. They're not getting any secondary offense. If Draisaitl doesn't score, this team doesn't win. If McDavid doesn't pick up a couple of points, this team doesn't win. So, and that was an issue a couple of years ago, that those 2 guys had to come up big every night for this team to succeed. I think last year they had a lot more secondary scoring, a lot more help. But you need guys to get going. And to me, Nugent Hopkins picking up 3 assists in New York, I think that was big. He's a guy that's got to get off the schneid a little bit. This guy's he was a 100-point player 2 years ago, and like he's nowhere near that this year. He's getting a lot of opportunities. He's not scoring. They get Zach Hyman back today, so hopefully he can kind of interject a bit more life into the offense. So I think getting Hyman and Ekholm back, I think, is going to really kind of bring the team together. This is their team, essentially. Except when Trent Frederick jumps into the lineup, I think he's going to help them out on the forecheck and physically and things like that. But yeah, it's going to be a good test today because Utah does play fast. Utah's young and hungry, and the Oilers want to kind of start putting things together here. And they still have a chance to finish first in the division. They're only 4 points back, and so they have an opportunity here. The door is open, and it's just a matter of them trying to step through it. And I think that's really important. And I think finishing first is important to this hockey team, and they're getting an opportunity. Vegas has not run away with this division, as it looked like they were going to. They've kind of stumbled a little here, so they got to take advantage. When the team in front of you loses, you got to take advantage, and you got to go out there and gain some traction, some points on this team. So it's a big game for the Oilers as well. They want to put things together as well. They haven't played well coming out of the break, and they know that, and they want to slowly gain some traction. But scoring has been an issue for this team, surprisingly, and everyone looks at defensively and the goaltending. But if you're only scoring 2 goals a game or less, you're not going to win very many hockey games in this league. And it's been a while since they really put the boots to someone. Like, you thought that was going to happen in Dallas when they jumped out to 5-1 lead. They let those guys right back in the game. But it's been a while since they've won 4-1, 5-1, like really, really put the boots to someone. And so I think that's something that the Oilers want to do and kind of say, hey, we're back. We're a contender. This is the way we want to play.
And quickly, give me your thoughts on the Canadian men's national soccer team DVD coming up the games in Mexico. What their coach said earlier, and kind of promoting that be proud for Canada. What do you make of that?
Yeah, that it's there's got to be some spice to these games here. They got to play Mexico on Thursday. For the first time in a long time, I think a lot of people think that Canada should be able to beat Mexico. Mexico is kind of on a dip here. Their national team has kind of really fallen. They're really hurting a little bit. So Canada has a great chance. The Canadian players, they're doing so well in Europe, like David and Davies and all those guys are doing so well in Europe right now that it's exciting time for Canadian soccer. But there's a little bit more with all the political garbage that's going on, all the stuff, there's just that little extra angst, little extra pride. And tell you what, Canada wants to get in that final against the United States, and they want to prove something that, they are the best team in CONCACAF. And I think a lot of people think that on talent-wise, for the first time in a long time, you look at that roster, go, yeah, that's a pretty good roster. They could very well be the best team in CONCACAF. So, yeah, it's exciting. They're in the Final Four. It's an exciting event, and then just listening to the interviews out there in Los Angeles, seeing the players, how excited they are. They're really jacked to get going. I'm really looking forward to that game on Thursday. hopefully they can get past Mexico. And wow, that's going to set up fireworks if the United States and Canada are playing in that final.
Oh, be awesome. And that's what you want, right? Like, why not? I think it'd be great. DVD, we'll see you at the rink, man. Have a good one. Thanks for your time.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on.
There you go. That's Derek Van Diest. A little playoff push mixed in finally with a little soccer. That's a big match coming up on Thursday for all of our soccer listeners. And hey, anytime now more than ever, maybe you want to rave the red and the white. It's a good time to do it. That's our playoff push brought to you by our Alberta GMC dealers. We'll come back. We'll get you the lineups, more in the room here from a few of the orders on the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X, presented by playalberta.ca. Are you tired of waking up tired? Are you tossing and turning all night and stiff and sore the next morning? If your sleep is suffering, it's time to visit the Brick Mattress Store. Their sleep experts will help you find the right support for a restful night's sleep. Back sleeper, side sleeper, hot or cold, there is a perfect mattress for you. Plus, with next day delivery, your best night's sleep could be tomorrow. Check out the Brick Mattress Store locations in Spruce Grove, South Edmonton, St. Albert, Leduc, and start waking up refreshed.
At Schwab Chevrolet Buick GMC, saving you money is no game. Just ask our boss.
That price isn't Schwabbing good enough.
Finding you a better deal is something he's really passionate about.
Dig the Schwab in right Schwabbing now.
It's Truck Month at Schwab with an added no-charge diesel. Save up to $15,000 on new 2025 Silverado and Sierra 1500 trucks. Applies to most models, including Denali's, Elevations, Trail Boss, RST half-tons, and HD trucks. At Schwab Chevrolet Buick GMC in Leduc.
Farm, ranch, acreage, or lake lot. They're here to help at Bashaw Concrete Products. Family owned and operated for 60 years. They continue to provide the best products and service, period. Call now for your free quote on the highest quality ready mix and gravel, a new septic tank, or an outhouse pad and tank, plus precast cattle water pads, garage sumps, and more. Call 780-372-3854 for prompt delivery. Bashaw Concrete Products, 780-372-3854. BashawConcrete.com.
Need a solid foundation without the fuss? Richard and Kalina at DCL Pile Driving have your back. Locally owned, they offer straight, driven piles. No screwing around. Serving all of Alberta, DCL Pile Driving gets your foundation ready in hours with minimal ground disturbance. Perfect for tight spaces, whether it's for a deck, grain bins, or RTMs. Tell them the radio sent you and receive a special discounted rate. Call or text 587-322-PILE. DCL Pile Driving. Don't get screwed. Get piles driven.
What would you do if you won $1 million in the Service Big Share contest? Maybe you'd have more time for... or do a little more.
This is your final boarding call for flight number 419.
Or finally, more. Entering to win the $1 million is easy. Just bring your savings to Service or add more to your account. The more you save, the more Service Big Share contest entries you get. Service Credit Union. Feel good about your money. Now open to Connect First members. Contest ends April 30th, 2025. Skill test required. For rules, visit service.ca/win.
Charging down the baseline for home plate or gliding down a lakeside park trail on two wheels. Spring's the time to save at St. Albert's Source for Sports. You'll find everything baseball, from cleats and bats to gloves and much more. And you'll get incredible spring savings on bikes from Specialized, plus a great selection of e-bikes, along with advice and full service from the pros. St. Albert's Source for Sports, your source for baseball, bikes, and a whole lot more for over 35 years.
Windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
5:43. Man, I haven't heard the lyrics to that song in a while. Welcome back. Hope you're having an awesome Tuesday afternoon. The Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440. Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, downloading the replays. Maybe you're listening on the app. You can get it at the Stingray or Radio Player or iHeart Radio. Some are early scores. The Sens and the Canadians tied at 1 late in the first. Drake Batherson has his 19th. Christian Dvorak opened up the scoring 2 minutes in for Montreal, 1-0. The Flames, Nazem Kadri, his 24th. They've pulled even and now have a power play. The Penguins, break up the Penguins. They keep winning. Probably doesn't matter, but they keep winning. Dylan Larkin has his 28th. Dylan Strome is 22nd. The Capitals and Red Wings are tied. And then you got some late games. The Blues pushing with Calgary and Utah and Vancouver for that playoff spot. They're in Nashville. The Canucks host the Jets tonight. Winnipeg is here in 2 days. Utah is in Edmonton. Kraken and Blackhawks, nothing game. And then the Stars trying to keep home ice advantage away from Colorado. They host the Ducks later on tonight. Let's get to our the lineup now, brought to you by Sherwood Power Sports and Marine, home of the $50 bi-weekly ATVs. Be on a boat next summer for as low as $105 bi-weekly at Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. The Edmonton Oilers, some good news in the lineup. Zach Hyman is back. He will play with McDavid, and Jeff Skinner is going to get a look on the top line. You've been waiting. We shall see. Does it work for Jeff Skinner and the Oilers? Also, you'll have Leon Draisaitl with Corey Perry, Connor Brown. Nugent Hopkins will center Arvidsson and Podkolzin. And then Adam Henrique with Kapanen and Janmark as Jones comes out of the lineup. On defense, Matthias Ekholm returns. He'll play with Bouchard, Nurse and Wallman, Kulak and Emberson, but it's not like it's going to be set pairs, according to head coach Chris Knobloch. Expect Matthias Ekholm to not be getting his usual 22 minutes a night. Probably could see him maybe down to 19, something like that. We'll see. Meanwhile, Utah, Alex Kerfoot, center Schmaltz, and Clayton Keller. Clayton Keller having himself a heck of a year. He's on pace for 90 points. Barrett Hayton will center Dylan Gunther and Logan Cooley. Those guys are all top picks. Cooley was 3rd, Hayton was 5th, Gunther's 9th. So some young players in that lineup. You got Jack McBain, huge big center with Josh Doan, Lawson Krause. That's a big, heavy third line. Kevin Stenlin, who won a cup with Florida last year, is their 4th line center. Him, Nick Bukestad, and Michael Carsoni. That's another huge line. Like, they got some big bottom 6 in Utah. Sergachev with Marino, Oli Mata, Sean Dursey, Ian Cole, and Michael Kessering, who was, of course, traded to then Arizona, now the Utah organization, for Nick Bukestad a few years ago at the deadline. And in goal, it looks like it's going to be Vejmelka for Utah, and in goal tonight for the Oilers, Calvin Pickard. So look for Skinner to play Thursday against the Jets, and then also the Saturday home game as well before the Oilers get 3 days off. Then Pickard and Skinner will split next Wednesday, Thursday, back-to-back, and then they got the Calgary Flames to wrap up the month. So there you go. That's the lineup report brought to you by Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. Lots of text to get to, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, if Nurse and Wallman are able to become the top pair, I think it might benefit Ekholm by playing fewer minutes on the second pair. Wallman can move the puck, but I think he and Nurse would be more defensively responsible than Ekholm and Bouchard. I'm not in a disagreement with you at all on that, JC. I think it's totally valid. And if you look at some of the minutes here played by Wallman and Nurse, I won't be surprised at all. Now, I think you could see Nurse and Wallman at times. Then you could split. Do you want to play them with McDavid? We know that Bouchard and Ekholm play a lot with McDavid, but Wallman can really move the puck. So now you can kind of, pick your poison a little bit. And maybe half the time Nurse and Wallman are with McDavid, the other half they're with Draisaitl's line. Then you got the other. Now, I know they're not completely half, because obviously you're going to play some minutes with your bottom pair guys, but I'm not opposed to that at all. I think Jake Wallman's mobility, his puck moving ability combined with Nurse could be a heck of a pair. And I think they can log more minutes. It's totally valid. Hey, Greg's, do you think Fogle and McLeod were traded and were best friends with Bouchard, the Three Musketeers? Do you think they're going to have something to do with Bouchard's up and down season? From Spruce Grove Rick, brother of Leduc Dan. I don't know if, guys lose teammates all the time, and they were very close. That's true. But Bouchard has other good buddies on the team. So, yeah, I'd have to ask Bouchard. I don't think so, right? Like, those guys aren't playing together, and they're all having great years. So, I'm going to say no. Bouchard hasn't had an awful year by any stretch of the imagination. He's had a few rough goes, and like I said, I think at times his turnovers get overblown because, yes, he has some, but he also makes way more good plays than bad plays. Could he play better? Yes, and I thought Bouchard's game in New York was really strong. So, if this is a quote down year for Bouchard, he's still top 10 in scoring. It's pretty good down year, and he doesn't have a goal in the power play, so no one can accuse him of padding his stats at all. Hey guys, Wallman's been impressive. I think the person who benefits the most will be Ekholm. Well, Wallman's likely going to play more of the right side, right? So, but Nurse is minutes playing with him. Then you throw in Kulak. Yeah, I think Matthias Ekholm at his age, it might be better if Nurse is playing more minutes than him. 5-on-5 for sure. Right now, they're both going to play in the penalty kill, guaranteed. But Wallman might even take a little bit of those second pair of minutes from Ekholm. Right? They both can shoot the puck 98 miles an hour. They both got bombs. Right? Like, the Oilers got 3 guys who shoot it at 98 on the blue line. Bouchard, Wallman, and Ekholm. So they can fire the pill. There's no question. Hey, guys, Wallman is who they thought they're getting in Justin Schultz from Chris. Justin Schultz was a rookie, guys. A rookie. And he's not 220 pounds like Jake Wallman, right? And I don't even think he's as mobile as Wallman. Like, Justin Schultz, unfortunately, during the decade of darkness, was a young player cast in a position to have no success. Here, kid, you don't have a great defensive instinct, first of all. So now we're going to put you in the toughest league in the world, and we're going to play you top minutes. And oh my God, when you struggle, everyone's going to get mad at you. Good luck. Like, it was, when you look back on it, it's such foolishness. Look at Schultz when he played on a good team and where he got slotted in the right spot. He's a really effective player. So don't ask players to be what they're not and then get mad at them. That to me was, Schultz is a poster boy for mismanagement. Poster boy. Hey guys, Skinner on the top line's a waste of time. It's not going to work, and it's been proven from Bad Niv. I'm not sure it's been proven. He hasn't played there a ton. Right? Like, I'm not sold it's going to work, but I don't know if I've seen enough to say it won't work. But we'll see. Like, hey, tonight's a good test, Utah fast team. And then you got the Jets coming in. And so to me, that's why I would make sure Skinner is playing there tonight. He's playing there on Thursday for sure, because those are going to be teams. Utah is right close to a playoff team, and Winnipeg is the best team in the West, best team in the league. So let's see how he does there. If he does well in those games, then guess what? He can, that should boost his confidence and say, hey, I can play in some big games, because that's obviously what he's striving for, right? Like, I think Jeff Skinner, the one thing I've been impressed with about Skinner is, despite having some struggles, despite not getting a lot of ice time, he's worked. Like, I think here's a display. When the coach says, this is what I want from you, and then the player does it, now you've put all the pressure on the coach to play you. Hey, you said you wanted me to move the puck quicker. You wanted me to have fewer turnovers. I've done that. So give me more ice time. To me, that's the best thing a player can do. You don't have to like what the coach says, but if you go sit, and it doesn't matter what level of hockey you're at. I don't care if you're playing U13, U15. Coach, what do I need to do to play? Okay, I'm going to outline. This is what I need to see from you. Now, you might not like it as a player, but if you go and do it, I know you've put all the onus on the coach. And now if he doesn't play you, he's not a man of his word and he's lost respect. So it's a good way to put pressure on your coach. And Skinner's done that. Now we'll see. He's going to have to score. He's going to have to produce something. But hey, McDavid keep shooting like he did last game. It's a good problem. But in theory, the line could have some success because Hyman is the forechecking guy. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. Pre-game show comes up next. Walker and Paulson as we get to a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. They're here to take care of your vehicle and your wallet. Until April 26th, you can save 25% off select tires. Plus, you can get a $120 mail-in rebate on a set of 4 select tires. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com. Some restrictions apply. Good night. Enjoy the game.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day, the Oilers hosting the Utah Hockey Club down at Rogers Place. Puck drop just after 7 o'clock. Pre-game coverage with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson coming up next year on Sports 1440. Couple games underway already, all of which are at the first intermission. Sens and Canadians tied at 1 apiece. The Flames lead the Rangers 2-1. Islanders in Pittsburgh trail the Penguins 2-0, and the Capitals and Red Wings also even at 1 apiece. Later tonight, Blues take on the Preds. Stars host the Ducks, Kraken in Chicago. And to wrap it all up at 8 o'clock, the Canucks hosting the Winnipeg Jets. In the association, 2 games going right now. In the second quarter, the Hawks lead the Hornets 55-46, and early in the first, Celtics and Nets tied at 15 apiece. Later on, Bucks in the Bay to take on the Warriors, and the Clippers hosting the Cavaliers. In the PWHL, after 20 minutes, Boston leads Montreal 1-0. We've got men's basketball March Madness first 4 action. Second half, St. Francis leads Alabama State 42-38. Tonight at 7:10, you got 2 11 seeds going at it, North Carolina and San Diego State. And some news from the NFL. New England Patriots signing center Garrett Bradbury to a 2-year extension. Bradbury was released by the Minnesota Vikings on Monday, and the Chargers signing former Vegas Raiders center Andre James. In the WHL tonight, you got 3 games. Raiders host the Warriors, the Pats up against the Broncos, and Victoria in Kamloops. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, pre-game coverage with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson.